baseball showing on the big screen tonight. We'll have more from inside Fox Theater in just a second. Grab your popcorn, though. Astros baseball starts right now.
Live from Comerica Park in downtown Detroit, Michigan, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight's game is the second of 4 here with the streaking Tigers. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. And last night, the Astros took it on the chin. Recently, the Astros offense had been picking it up. Some of the small things were getting done by this offense back home against Seattle. Jonathan Villar, for example, just making contact and driving in a key run in what would be a win for the ball club. And that's the one where George Springer comes up with the infield knock, wins the ball game. Small things can win you some ball games. Last night, the small things were not done well.
Yeah, sometimes those little things can kill you. And a ball club like the Houston Astros, who has a bunch of young guys who battled extremely hard against Max Scherzer, can't let things like this happen to them in these tight ball games, because these are what come back to haunt you. Runner in scoring position, run into a double play right there with a strike him out, throw him out against Max Scherzer. You saw what it meant to him. And then there was the defense also. Last Sunday we saw Chris Carter at first base, infield in against Robinson Cano, and they get the play they want. A ground ball to first base. Could have had the play at home, but opted for the play at first base. That goes to lack of confidence at first base for me, for Chris Carter not being able to make that throw at home and realizing playing in is to get that runner at home.
Last night against Max Scherzer, you're not going to get many opportunities. The Astros got one late, but earlier in the ball game, moving up just a bit, the throw from Matt Dominguez gets away from Mark Krause at first base. And that was crucial. That led to a run as Rajay Davis drives it in. That made it 1-0 at the time. Tigers would add another on a late home run. But just some of the small things for the ball club not coming through right now, and it's costing the club.
Yeah, spring training emphasis was on defense, pitching. They're not getting it done right now, and that's leading to some of these losses.
Now, tonight, Brett Oberholzer goes to the mound. The Astros have been really counting on this guy. The last couple of starts, however, have been on the struggle side.
Yeah, that at home, those 2 starts is where he's really struggling. His last 2 starts at home at Minute Maid, only going 8 1/3 innings, giving up 12 earned runs. But we've seen Oberholzer on the road against some pretty good lineups like this one in Texas, where he did a great job. He doesn't throw the ball real hard, stays around 90 miles an hour, but everything he does is all about location. If he can't locate his fastball, it doesn't allow him to get to those off-speed pitches where he's been so effective.
Coming up, Jared Cozart cemented his spot in the starting rotation with a dazzling performance last night right here in Motown. What's going to happen with the rest of the rotation spots? Julia Morales talks about it when we come back. Comcast Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is brought
Sportsnet is in Detroit, Michigan, a city full of history when it comes to entertainment. The Astros are taking on the Tigers at Comerica Park, but just across the street is the famous Fox Theater, which played host to some of the biggest names in show business. We're taking you inside right now. This place opened in 1928, and at that time showing a silent film. It wasn't that much longer after that talking pictures came around, and like I said, some of the biggest names in here. Shirley Temple making several appearances back in the 1930s when her movies were released. Later, Elvis Presley performing on the stage behind me several times, and since then, musical acts, comedy acts coming through. This place is very, very busy, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And outside at night, once the sun goes down, it lights up the city of downtown Detroit. As we talk about big stages, the Astros starting pitchers find themselves on one all week. And Jared Cozart did well in the spotlight last night, going toe-to-toe with the former Cy Young Award winner Max Scherzer. Cozart throwing 6 scoreless innings and then allowed 1 unearned run in the 7th, but doing just a very nice job, and he tamed a hot Tigers lineup. He mixed in his changeup more often last night. That was part of the game plan. It helped make his fastball that much more effective. He's been good in his last 3 starts, but has no wins to show for it. So now the attention turns to Brett Oberholzer. He's on the bump tonight, but it's really everyone with pressure this week. The Astros' #1 guy, Scott Feldman, returning this Friday from the 15-day DL, and with his fill-in Colin McHugh pitching lights out, it's made pressure on Bo Porter to find out who it is that will be bumped from that starting rotation. So here's how the rest of the week will look. Obi going tonight, Brad Peacock, Dallas Keuchel, who's pitched great this season. It's going to be a tough decision, and Jared Cozart has set the bar high for his fellow teammates. Man, I wish I could hang out here and see what's going on tonight at Fox Theater, but I got to get to the ballpark. It's almost game time, and for now, I'm going to toss it up to the guys in the booth. Ashton Blum.
Thanks a lot, Julia. It looked like a great day for you. And now today's Astros lineup card presented by Jack in the Box. Top 3 in the order: Jose Altuve at second. In center, Dexter Fowler. Jason Castro is back behind the plate. Chris Carter's in the 4 spot. He's the DH. Jesus Guzman at first, and in right field, George Springer. And the bottom 3, Matt Dominguez at third. LJ Hose gets a start in left. And at shortstop, Jonathan Villar.
On the mound for the Tigers, it's going to be rookie Robbie Ray making his first appearance in the big leagues. Came over in the Doug Fister trade. Going to work with a fastball that ranges from 91 to 96 miles an hour, curveball, and a changeup.
Now Robbie Ray makes that first pitch in the big leagues look like a pretty good one, but a ball called. And he's probably thinking already, boy, the strike zones are tight here in the bigs. He was 3-2 with a very nice 1.53 ERA at Toledo AAA. 6 games, 5 as a starter. Pitch hit in the air, looping down the right field side near the line, and it drops fair. Jose Altuve is not going to stop with a single. He's got a leadoff double as Torrey Hunter gets it back into third. So that's how the big league career of Robbie Ray begins.
Man, these guys can hit in the big leagues, can't they?
How about that?
Put it wherever they want. Nice job by Altuve. Sees 2 pitches from the young kid. Takes the first strike Robbie Ray throws in the big leagues and drops it on that right field line.
So welcome to the bigs, young man. Altuve aboard at second base. Nobody out for Dexter Fowler. Tigers have had their way in recent times with the Astros. They won 6 of 7 last year as Ray finds the outside edge.
Bat died a hero. Sounds like it snapped it pretty good. Altuve doing a good job of running the bases again.
Do you ever have that bat that was just so hot for you and you wanted to keep it as long as possible, but you break it on a hit? Are you cool about that moment?
No. I mean, you're glad you get a hit and it went down a hero, but you want to hold on to those things as long as you can. I've had a couple splintered just barely, and I've taped them back together and try to get a couple more ABs out of them.
It's one of those phrases you hear in the dugout a lot: died a hero. And that means you got a hit, but see you for that bat. 1-1 on Fowler. He tries to put it down the right side and fouls it to the seats. So a 1-2 count on Dexter.
Good to see Dexter trying to go the other way. Move that runner to the third, less than 2 outs. Give Castro a chance. If that doesn't work, hopefully give Carter an opportunity.
Last year, Robbie Ray, pitching at Harrisburg AA, was 11-5, 3.36 ERA in 27 starts. had 4 complete games, so a very impressive season. One of those is shutout. On the hands, hit on the ground right side, and that'll do the job moving Altuve. And late getting to the bag is Robbie Ray, and everybody's safe. Dexter Fowler able to beat this toss to first. Cabrera took a look toward third, and that might have been what did in Robbie Ray.
That's one thing as a pitcher. You can never assume that the first baseman's not going to use you. You got to break immediately, and he does actually. Just Fowler does a better job of beating him there. That was pretty impressive, seeing Dexter with his head down going through the bag.
Yeah, you know, what you said is exactly right. Watching Ray come off the mound, falling on the third base side just a bit, he simply was late getting over. But, you know, when you take a look, maybe a little poor route to the bag might have cost him in the end.
Yeah, I think he kind of got lost where he was, too. Pitchers are normally taught to run towards the line and then up the line. That way to avoid the runner coming down first base.
NFL scouts are going to detect that and realize he's not going to be a good receiver, so could cost him this week. Runners at first and third, nobody out for Jason Castro. For Castro, .212 the batting average, 4 dingers on the year. He's driven in 14. Golden chance to pick something up here early in the ball game. Last night the Astros shut out as Max Scherzer went 8 shutout innings and then turned it over to the bullpen. Joe Nathan came on for his 6th save on the year. A ball and a strike on Castro. The Tigers lead the all-time series with Houston 13-10. But again, much of that work done here in the last couple of seasons. 7-1 since last year kicked off. Fowler back to the bag easily. Jared Cozart so good for Houston last night on the hill. Gave up 1 unearned run, and it cost him as he took the loss. And that the error we depicted at first base by Mark Krause on a throw across the diamond from Matt Dominguez on the home plate side a bit, but one of those that has to be caught. You don't often talk about, as we just saw Miguel Cabrera, but some of the folks here that follow the club with the Tigers a little concerned about his inability to show the big swing throughout this entire season to this point. And we saw it last night. One of those nights you just will not see with Miguel Cabrera. Curveball stays way up and in. One of the things you'll find with these minor league pitchers as they come to the big leagues, you'll hear radar gun readings that sometimes never get approached. And hard to figure out how that might come about from the minor leagues. But guys will get pushed real hard toward the bigs and then never quite have the same numbers. There's a fastball at 91 swung through by Castro. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, reading some of the scouting reports on Robbie Ray. 2012 got beat up a little bit when he was with the Nationals. 2013 regained some of that velocity. I think that's what led to Dave Dombrowski going out and trying to make Robbie Ray a part of that Doug Fister trade.
Robbie Ray is the guy that was really considered to be heart and center of that deal. And Castro down on strikes. That's a costly first out here in the first inning.
Yeah, would have liked to have seen Castro test this Detroit Tiger defense, try and get a run in. We'll take a look around Comerica Park. Ex-Astro JD Martinez out in left field looking to take his revenge against the Astros. Austin Jackson in center, Torrey Henry in right, Nick Castellanos at third base, Danny Worth at shortstop, Ian Kinsler at second base, Miguel Cabrera at first, and Alex Avila behind home plate.
The Astros have had better success against left-hand pitching so far this year, hitting .249, just .203 against, right-handers. 1 out, runner still at the corners as Ray tosses over to first once again.
Not sure what the scouting reports say about Robbie Ray's move, but I don't think we've seen his. I'm hoping we haven't seen his best one yet. A couple courtesy moves to see what Dexter's doing over there at first in this first and third situation.
Some left-handers live on just throwing that way because runners will go on first move, and if they do and you're coming over, you've got them. For instance, I never thought that Andy Pettitte had what I would call a dazzling move to first base, but so many guys caught stealing, picked off by Pettitte through the years. But it's really that guy that says, I'm going to go on first move. It's the only chance you have to steal. And then Pettitte would come over. A lot of left-handers live by that motto. Carter way out in front, just waves through the off-speed pitch. The Astros have struggled on the road as hitters this year, hitting just .202. As a group, they are dead last in runs per game, batting average, OPS in the league. And a close pitch misses. 1-1 on Carter. Danger now is that Carter puts one on the ground and the Tigers find a way to turn the double play. For the Astros, one of these innings where you have to feel like one run is a bare minimum. On the hands, it's popped up. Is it playable? Miguel Cabrera and Avila come over, and it lands in that Astros dugout. So 1-2 the count now on Carter. The Astros have hit 33 home runs as a club. They've hit 21 of those home runs in the 10 wins. Just 12 home runs hit in the losses, 22 of them. So you get an idea how much the home run means in their wins this year. And now 2-2.
Talked about little things in the open, and that's one thing the Astros need to work on. And he's, like you said, Ash, just putting the ball in play. Castro's strikeout with the runner at third base, nobody out. Even a double play ball right there scores a run.
Very costly. And another lob to first. The designated hitter for the Astros this year, hitting just .198. And of course, Carter, the DH tonight.
It's not a good thing for an American League team at all.
6 home runs and 17 RBIs out of that DH slot, but you need much better numbers. And Carter down on strikes. Ray turns to the off-speed pitch, gets a key second out. Strikeouts now of Castro and Carter, and Ray on the verge of getting out of this jam in the first inning.
Looks like just a two-seam fastball running on the up and out over the plate. Tough to get to that pitch when you see Chris Carter's front hip pulling off that ball a little bit.
With 2 strikes, one of the approaches a lot of people would favor would be going back up the middle, maybe to right center a bit. And now it's in the hands of Jesus Guzman. Guzman hitting .217 with a couple of bombs. Falls behind 0-1. Robbie Ray, while pitching at AAA, did not allow a run in each of his last 3 appearances. 2 of those starts. And that spanned 14 1/3 innings, so he has pitched very well coming into tonight's start. Again, his major league debut. One and 1 the count.
Likes that changeup.
Yes, he does.
Throwing it early in the count, too.
Max Scherzer last night utilized the changeup very well. Of course, he throws hard and spots a lot of pitches extremely well. Guzman playing as the first baseman tonight. You turn to what the first basemen have done for the team this year. They're hitting .172. This is one of those power slots. You count on first baseman to drive in runs, and now it's 1-2 on Guzman. First basemen have driven in just 8 runs for Houston. One of the most incredible figures that we've talked about recently, the cleanup man has hit just 160 for the Astros. Ball drilled but fouled down the left field side.
Jesus may have just earned himself one of those changeups, turning on that heater on the inside corner. Pretty good job, though. 2 strikes on him. Did you like doubling up as a catcher when you see a guy turn on a fastball like that with 2 strikes?
Always tried to kind of play guessing games. I would watch feet of hitters. Sometimes I felt like you could get some tip-offs by what a guy would do. There's the changeup, so you call that on the money. Sometimes you see guys will move up or not necessarily back so much, but sometimes away from the plate. It'll tell you if they're guessing in or away, and sometimes that'll tell you if they're guessing fastball or off speed. Robbie Ray with the 2-2 runner goes from first. And we'll do it again at 2-2.
Well, if anything, the Astros are doing a good job of making him throw pitches. You see 22 in this inning, getting a chance to see what he's got. You've seen fastball, changeup. We haven't seen that curveball. From some of the articles I've read about Robbie Ray, that changeup is actually his 3rd pitch. And I wonder if he's been working on it more this year and made him that much more successful and earned that call up.
And you always wonder the source of the articles, and do they know exactly where they're coming from? Pitch left up, but hit on the ground left side. Worth with the play, and the Astros, after getting the first 2 runners on the corners, nobody out, failed to score against left-hander Robbie Ray. The play for the Tigers tonight. We'll take a look at their batting order presented by skipper Brad Ausmus. Top 3, Ian Kinsler at second. In right field, Torrey Hunter and Miguel Cabrera is at first. The middle 3, Victor Martinez, he's the DH. JD Martinez, former Astro, gets a start in left field. And in center, it's Austin Jackson. The bottom 3 feature third baseman Nick Castellanos, Alex Avila behind the plate, and shortstop Danny Worth.
Tall order for the Astros left-hander Brett Oberholzer, coming in on a streak of losing 5 straight, making the 7th start on the season, facing this tough Detroit Tigers heavily favored right-hand lineup. I'd like to think that he's not vying for a spot in that rotation, but I think this is a big start for Brett Oberholzer, who's got to do a good job of rebound from those last 2 starts he had back in Minute Maid Park.
Scott Feldman coming back into the rotation. It's presumed that he'll pitch Friday, and somebody's got to go. Some of the guys have pitched well. Oberholzer has had his struggles. Here's a drive down the left field side, but hooks foul to the seats. And you wonder, does that present any pressure for Obi tonight?
It might. And I think Brett Oberholtz was a smart enough kid to realize what's going on in the situation, the Astros rotation. But I also think he's got the makeup to be able to go out there and grind out a pretty good win.
Works the inside edge, finds it, and gets a strike. 0-2. Some of the talk from Bo Porter has been that Brett Oberholzer has become a one side of the plate pitcher. And that almost always means away. That last year with the successes that he had, he used both sides, but the presumption now is that he's pitching only away. So I imagine we'll see a lot of effort to come in. Another one, little dribbler in front of the plate. Castro with the play, and the first out as Kinsler is retired.
Nice play by Castro, jumping out from behind the plate. We'll take a look at who's playing behind Brett Oberholzer tonight. L.J. HOU is making an appearance in left field. Dexter Fowler in center. George Springer over there in right field. And around the infield, we're going to have Matt Dominguez at third base. VR and Altuve, the double play combo up the middle. Jesus Guzman playing first base against the left-handed pitcher. And Jason Castro, as we just saw, working with Brett Oberholzer again behind home plate.
So Torrey Hunter stands in with a 12-game hitting streak. And that first offering up and away. Torrey picked up a couple of hits last night. When you're on a streak, you'll get some softies mixed in. He had a swinging bunt single. Good changeup. You can always see that waving swing out in front, indicating the changeup.
Obi has a good one. When he's got that arm action going and he's able to establish that inside corner. I know it's early, but that at bat against Kinsler, the second strike he threw at him, was a great pitch on the inside corner. He's going back in there.
It just popped foul to the seats back behind the screen. So Obi gets in front, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hunter off to a great start on his season, hitting .327, 4 bombs on the year, already 32 hits. Just getting into this first week of the month of May. 19 ribbies for Hunter. Been a heck of a player for a long time, and George Springer views him as that ideal guy, maybe the model player. Coming in again, and this one's ripped down the left field side. Hunter digs for second base. The throw in from HOU's way off line, and it's a stand-up double for Hunter.
Ball's up from Obi. You have to throw a little bit harder if you're going to try and bust guys up in the zone, and Obi's fastball isn't able to do that. He's got to work on a better angle trying to get that down and into the right-handed hitters. This one left up out over the plate. Hunter does a good job of getting the head out. Still has quick hands.
So it's a 13-game hitting streak now, double number. Let's see, for Torrey Hunter, number 8 on the season. Comes with 1 out, brings up Miguel Cabrera. And again, last night, one of those nights that was surprising with Cabrera at the plate. Had a couple of weak swings, ground balls softly hit on the right side. In fact, I don't think we ever saw the big swing.
Did he even hit one out of the infield last night?
It was one of those nights that just left you thinking, yeah, I wonder what's going on. And talking to, again, some of the folks here with the Tigers broadcast, there is concern. Again, Obi tries to work in.
He's just setting everybody up, lull them to sleep, and then he'll get a couple pitches in these hot zones that you're looking at right now and start driving the ball all over the place. We know he's capable of it, but here early on, for whatever reason, maybe recovering a little bit still from that sports hernia. But you can see Miguel Cabrera, great hitter. Doesn't matter where you throw it, inside, outside, up, down, he's going to find a way to put a barrel on it.
To your question, last night he never did get a ball out of the infield. A couple of ground balls to second, 1 to first, and a strikeout victim. That was when Cozart threw the little cutter down around the knees right through the heart of the plate. And a lot of chatter around here, even with some of the big folks down on the field, about that great cutter from Jared Cozart last night. I think the Tigers were impressed.
Well, it reappeared. We didn't see it too early in the season, but it definitely made an appearance last night and was quite effective.
And the hitters will talk about that kind of a pitch. It'll upset the apple cart for a lot of guys. And I think Jared Cozart showed again last night, even though the numbers velocity-wise weren't 95 and above, that cutter sets him apart, I think, as one of the real tough power pitchers.
And it's one of those things. You worry about the walks with a guy that has that kind of movement on a cutter or a sinker, but I think he had enough movement on it last night. He can almost set up down the middle and let it work itself away from right-handed hitters or into left-handed hitters and be quite nice.
Runner goes from second. The pitch is outside the throwdown, a good one, and they're able to get Torrey Hunter.
Wow.
So 2-5 as Hunter is caught stealing, and with Miguel Cabrera at the plate, how often are you going to see that?
From a veteran like Torrey Hunter, too. He must have seen something in Oberholzer's delivery, or maybe picked a pitch in the changeup to run to third base. But if you're going to take that chance, you'd like to see it at least a little bit closer at third base.
Well, a nice throw by Castro and a key out.
Just like we promised earlier in the I'm not going to promise, but I may promise now that later in the game we are going to have a magnificent moment, and it's going to be brought to you by Miller Lite.
You know what? Don't make promises you can't keep early in the game.
Oh, I'm counting on something big happening for the Astros, and I'm going to be talking about it because Miller Lite's going to ask me to.
Okay, I'm counting on you. 3-1 pitch. This is hit hard to the gap in left center field, and nobody's getting to this ball. In fact, it gets out of here. So we start talking about Miguel Cabrera, 320 lifetime hitter, a guy now with 368 career home runs. This his third on the year, and the Tigers go on top 1-0.
I think the conversation's going to change a little bit tomorrow, talking to some of the people you did today.
Yeah.
Got himself a pitch to hit. How often do you see it when a guy gets thrown out with a big hitter like Miguel Cabrera at home plate? Next pitch, next hit is always a base hit, if not a home run. He got a pitch right down the middle and drove it.
That's a great point. Did that upset Miguel Cabrera to have his
I didn't
teammate
think about
thrown
it that
out?
way, yeah. Might have been like, hey, man, don't run. I can drive you in from anywhere.
Yeah, you know, a guy, Miguel Cabrera, you know he's got great confidence. Again, a 320 lifetime hitter. He is approaching 400 career home runs. Does he think to himself, what on earth is going on out here? These guys think I can't drive them in?
No, I don't think so.
Well, but you know the pride that takes over, and a guy will think to himself, come on, last time I checked, I put the uniform on. It's Miguel Cabrera.
I don't think Miguel has that disposition about it. I think he might play a little lighthearted.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they were playing against, the Red Sox or the Yankees or a contending team, he might be a little more concerned and said, hey, we could have a 2-run lead instead of a 1-run lead right now. But yeah, there was a little more urgency in that swing from Miguel Cabrera that time.
That was really the first swing, and it's only game 2, his first at bat of the second game of the series, but we didn't see that swing last night.
No.
2-0 pitch. That's taken for a strike. So the Tigers on top 1-0. Again, 368 career home runs from Miguel Cabrera, but just his third on the season. Ball appeared to carry pretty well out to the gap in left center.
Wasn't a very high, majestic shot either, man. It was a bullet out to left center field. That's a pretty deep part of the ballpark, even with the fences in. Change up from Obi. A couple earlier in that bat kind of cut across the plate. This one stayed flat over the middle of the plate. You can see right there, it wasn't a towering shot. That was just a laser.
Remember who last year for the Astros hit a home run out in that direction, but much further?
I think he's in the ballpark.
Yeah, might be playing for the opposition. JD Martinez launched one out there.
Backing up Victor Martinez.
Pitch is hit high in the air, left center field. Fowler coming on and calling. He'll make the catch. That'll do it for the Tigers in this first inning, but they get the run on the home run by Cabrera. It's 1-0 Detroit.
of a 4-game set. And it's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto. This is for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's the Comcast Sportsnet fan photo, and it's brought to you by AT&T. And speaking of photo ops, check out this one. Isn't this place beautiful? The Fox Theater, one of the original Fox theaters. There's only 3 of these left in existence. Pretty cool stuff, guys.
That is very cool. Nice day for Julia, obviously. And she has a lot of those as she travels around these major league cities. Good to see. 1-0 Tigers on top of the home run by Miguel Cabrera. For the Astros, George Springer, 6-hitter in this order, will lead it off. He'll be followed by Matt Dominguez and L.J. HOU here in the 2nd inning. Astros had a golden opportunity starting the ballgame. Birthday boy Jose Altuve had a double as he dropped one down the right field line. Single to third by Dexter Fowler, a little infield grounder. But then strikeouts of Castro and Carter before Guzman grounded to short to end the inning. And one swing for the Tigers puts them on the board. 0-1 on Springer, hitting .191. Had a solid base hit in last night's game. Chops one to third. On the run, making the play, and not in time. Castellanos simply unable to get the speedy Springer going down the line.
Well, I was just looking at the defensive alignment, and Castellanos for the Tigers is playing a little bit closer to third base than you normally see a third baseman. And this ball, 2-hopper in the hole. Tough play for a third baseman when you're going to your left and you got to throw back across your body to the right and try and get that runner who's running pretty well in George Springer.
Would you
see
agree?
The double clutch there too?
An extra step or two there enabling Springer to beat it.
Oh, he did the old Hunter Pence move right there at first base. Hunter always runs towards the front of the, like the very front of the bag, tries to hit it with his toe and almost in front of the bag, trying to deceive the umpire. A good move right there by the kid.
Infield single for Springer. It brings up Matt Dominguez. And now that speed aboard. Curveball stays away from Ray. Springer last night in the 2nd inning following his lone hit of the game tried to steal a bag, and he was gunned down by Alex Avila. Good throwing catcher. In fact, the Astros had a rough night last night. They had 3 would-be base stealers thrown out. But one of those so key. It came in the 8th inning. Marwin Gonzalez, a pinch runner, was at second base and took off on a 3-2 pitch to Jose Altuve. That with 1 out. Altuve swung through it, and then Avila threw on down to third base and easily got Marwin.
I know I didn't say it at the time, and hindsight's always, clear and perfect, but I felt at the time with Max Scherzer on the mound, and even though Altuve is a high contact guy, I didn't really feel that was a situation in a tight ball game against a high strikeout guy where you wanted to take that chance of a strike him out, throw him out.
Well, I thought it was apparent because I presented the possibility to you, and you kind of held your ground a little bit. Fly ball to center field. That'll push Jackson back and toward the gap a bit. He'll make the catch. Tagging and bluffing is Springer on out number 1. But I thought that the fact that you kind of backed off, really not saying, yeah, you know what, this is a good time to run, spoke volumes.
Yeah, and we found that out the hard way, unfortunately. And last night, Max was working a great changeup, wasn't afraid to throw it to anybody at any time, whether right-handed or left-handed. It was a 3-2 changeup, and Altuve swung right over the top of it. And not a very good jump by Marwin Gonzalez either. He was thrown out, didn't even slide. He was out by so much.
I think there are times for a guy, and Marwin's that utility player, probably doesn't have great confidence about making a mistake and not having it cost him. So you're cautious about when you leave from second base, and in this case it just wasn't anywhere near enough time.
Well, it's curious too that the runner at first base didn't go. So who did somebody miss a sign, or was it appropriate? Raises a lot of questions when that happens in tight ball games.
L.J. HOU's over his last 17 now. Gets the start against the left-hander and has an 0-2 count. It's been a rough start for L.J., hitting 136. He does have a home run, 1 RBI on the season, but this hasn't been the same guy we saw that came over from Baltimore last year. That in the Bud Norris deal. And L.J., quite frankly, after about a few games, settled in and played very well.
Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job. shooting balls the other way. But for whatever reason, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with the amount of playing time too, not really going out there, not seeing too many left-handers in the league thus far in the season, makes it tough for the right-handed hitter.
Just the second inning, 1-0 Tigers. And a line shot to left field, but coming on to make the play, J.D. Martinez. So HOU stings it, but lines out, second out of the inning.
Take advantage of one of the best bargains, I'm assuming, in Minute Maid Park with the Coca-Cola Value Days package, available with specially marked Coke products. The package includes a ticket, hot dog, popcorn, and bottle of Coke for just $16. Visit Astros.com for more information.
Ideal. 2 down. Springer, who had the leadoff single, the infield ground ball. Still at first base. Jonathan Villar, the 9-hitter at the plate, hitting .258. And we've had a lot of talk about Villar of late, and he's earned all of it. Offensively, oh, what a job he's been doing. Leads the club with the home runs, 5. He is among the leaders around all of Major League Baseball for shortstops. Talk offensive numbers.
It's a credit to him too, not panicking at all. You know, some of these young kids these days freak out, not putting up the numbers offensively. He stayed steady at defense, and the offense picked itself up, and now he's producing the way he wants to. He's got confidence on both sides.
They appeal down to first. No on the check swing. Yeah, we've been hearing about Troy Tulowitzki and what a great start he's gotten off to for the Rockies as a shortstop, and his numbers are off the charts. Take a close look at them. He's hitting almost 600 at Coors this year, 250 on the road. So
those are Dante Bichette-like numbers.
Yeah, he's heavily influenced by the light air in Denver, no doubt. But if you look around the American League only at shortstops, OPS, that's the most telling stat you can look at, right? The number 1 shortstop OPS in the American League, you're looking at him, Jonathan Villar.
How about that?
In front of Alexi Ramirez and Jed Lowry, Xander Bogaerts. Pitches popped up into shallow right center. Coming on, the right fielder Hunter. He'll make the catch. That'll do it for Houston. They get a hit and Lieberman. It's 1-0 Detroit. The second inning, And J.D. Martinez, a year ago in an Astros uniform, this is what he did right here at Tiger Stadium.
I wonder if he was in the dugout talking to Max about what he did to him last year and told him he got all of that. I think that's one of the longer home runs in all of Comerica Park history we were talking about last year. Over 450 feet. And J.D. Martinez, right before his call-up, had a 4-home run doubleheader, I think it was.
Had a big game in the spring as well. I believe he hit 3 home runs and hit the top of the wall on another one. That was a minor league game in the spring, though. Martinez has hit safely in his last couple of games. Different looking stance, and he employed this on the spring when he was still with the Astros. And my impression was I like it. I like what I'm seeing him turn to. And at least to this point, it's turning him into a power hitter. Good swing as he fouls it back. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, ice skates on that swing right there. Yeah, but he was one of those guys that was in the get the toe down or get the front foot down early.
Yeah,
he was part of that club, but now it looks like he's kind of gone to that leg kick a little bit, trying to create a little more weight on that backside and going through the baseball.
You can see him loaded up a bit on the right side. Had a pitch to hit as he fouls it off.
And there's going to be a little emotion going through that young man right there. Came up as an Astro, drafted, born and raised, came to the big leagues. Astros had high expectations for him. Didn't work out for him here. And now he's in the Detroit Tigers lineup.
Hey, this could work out really well for J.D., though. A chance to play with a good club and keeps that count at 2-2. If you do a nice job, you fill in, you get that occasional start, you play well, the skip's going to love you and fight for keeping you on his club. He'd have to do some big things to get into that lineup every day in left field, but could happen.
Especially with what Rajai Davis is doing out there.
Yeah, he's played well. Unique player. Rajai brings the Tigers that speed element.
Yeah, at the top of that lineup, I know tonight Ian Kinsler's hitting in that leadoff spot. And Rajai's hitting that 9-hole, kind of creates a situation where he turns into that second leadoff guy. But yeah, really doing a great job on the base paths, and that's what Brad Ausmus wanted to bring to this Tiger ball club. It's a little more aggressiveness on the base paths.
Yeah, we mentioned last night the Tigers under Brad Ausmus are running much better as Martinez goes down looking.
Comcast Business takes you inside the game as we look at Obi's recent struggles with righties. And a lot of people back in Houston saw a couple of these home runs. They weren't cheapies either. They were hanging fastballs, hanging changeups out over the plate, and they were deposited well over the Crawford boxes up near that big train in left field. And there you get a chance to see where some of those hard hit balls are being thrown, and it's all about location for Obi. If he leaves his pitches out over the plate, they're going to get hit pretty hard.
Well, he just doesn't have the kind of fastball that he's going to blow by many bats. It is about location. When he's sharp, he can be very effective. There's no question. He's shown that.
There you get a good look at it. That's a changeup coming out of Obi's hand, but Castro set up on that outside corner, reaching back over the middle of the plate, and that's pretty much center cut.
There's the changeup. And a 1-2 count on Austin Jackson. You were talking with Brad Ausmus about Austin Jackson, a guy who has in recent years been up at the top of the order, but maybe because of that, with the big bats behind him, reluctant to run a lot, and maybe now has freed up that part of his game. Caught looking. He will not be running here in the second inning. A couple of strikeouts, both looking, and Austin Jackson has a few parting words for home plate umpire Andy Fletcher.
Good pitch by Obi. It's that fastball, and that's what we're talking about, trying to create that angle down in the zone. Left a fastball up to Torrey Hunter, and he turned on him, but right here, painting that down and in corner, that's a tough pitch to hit with 2 strikes.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Nick Castellanos, the third baseman, stands in. Very upright stance. It's had a big impact on the Tigers to this point, despite hitting just .233. He does have 4 home runs, 18 RBIs on the young season. Yeah, if you're going to miss with that changeup, miss right there. And you'll get some swings and misses on that pitch. And that changeup sets up fastballs that may not be ideally placed. This one fouled down the right side. Well, Brad Ausmus has turned these Tigers into a team that runs quite well. 24 stolen bases. They've been caught 9 times. But most of that from Rajai Davis. 11 bags, caught a couple of times. And if he keeps Rajai Davis playing in left field, they've got a chance to steal some bags.
I think that aggressiveness was, with the stolen bases, I think it also, they worked on it in spring training, and a lot of it, taking that extra base when they have the opportunity. I know that when he played here with the Houston Astros, he had a chance to play with the Craig Biggio's and the Bagwells and some of these guys that really took advantage of outfielders not getting the balls quickly and taking that extra base. That just creates more opportunities to drive in some runs with these big boppers that they have in their lineup.
Is Brad one of those guys that thinks about, analyzes the impact a player like a Bagwell or a Craig Biggio or even a Jeff Blum for that matter might have on their ball club, and how in the end it can help you win the extra games you need?
No, I think he does. He's a big time student of the game. He didn't play the game as long as he did because he wasn't watching or paying attention to games. His stick wasn't what kept him in the game. It was his defense and his mind behind the plate. He was able to work with a lot of great pitching staffs throughout his career, but he's also a guy in the dugout that you could approach, or he would approach you with situations and say, hey, this might be a good time for this, or watch it and see what this guy's tendency's doing, or keep an eye on somebody on base, might be creeping off a little bit. He always looked for every advantage to try and get it out and help his ball club win.
2-2 the count on Castellanos. Left fielder L.J. Ho's playing very deep.
Good grief, yeah.
Obi rubs it up. 3-2 count. Alex Avila, left-hand hitter, waits on deck. Just the second game here of 4 with the Tigers. Brad Peacock works tomorrow night against Rick Porcello. Ball hit in the air, left center field. Long run for Hose coming on. He'll make the play. A 1-2-3 second as Obi tries to settle in. It's 1-0 Detroit.
On top of the Astros by 1. And we've got time for a Twitter question. What do you like most about Jose Altuve. You can tweet your answers or your responses to @Ho_Chen at CSN and @Julia Morales CSN. And the reason we asked that question of what you like most about that fellow right there is today is his birthday. He is all of 24 years old in the big leagues.
Happy birthday, Jose Altuve. He's already gotten at least one of his gifts, that little double loop just inside or on the chalk down the right field side. So nice start to the birthday boy's day.
Time to get greedy and get some more.
Yeah. Get yourself 4 or 5 on the birthday night. Nothing wrong with that. 1-0 Detroit. Home run solo job in the first inning by Miguel Cabrera. And now it's the top of the order for Houston. Altuve, Fowler, and Castro. First offering right on the outside edge. This is Julia's tweet a little earlier in the day during batting practice. Happy birthday, little buddy.
He is engulfed by Miguel Cabrera in a big birthday hug.
Curveball apparently missing high from Ray. And Miguel's a big fella. And of course, we know Jose's not all that large of stature.
Fellow Venezuelans?
Yeah. A bunt attempt.
Hey.
We're going to try to flare one down the right field line and then drop a bunt down for a base hit. Counts at 1-2 on Altuve. He shares this birthday with some pretty big names.
Yeah, that guy George Clooney's been around for a while. Huh?
George Clooney. Wow, that's not one of the big names, is it? Okay.
Who?
Okay. I guess with all his girlfriends, he would be. Ground ball left side. Backhanded by Worth. And the throw across to get him. 1 up, 1 down here in the third. How about Willie Mays on that list of birthday boys today?
It's not bad.
Dexter Fowler hit a little ground ball on the first base side. Miguel Cabrera picked it up plenty early. Robbie Ray, we saw as he came off the mound, drops a little on the third base side, but then sprinted to first. Not the best of routes. And when he finally got there, Dexter Fowler able to beat him.
Yeah, Dexter gets to tell all his buddies now, hey man, I beat out a ground ball to first base. Not too many guys get to say that.
So he's 1 for 1 on the night. Hits one on a hop, but this time Kinsler picks him and gets him. Nice play by the Tigers second baseman.
Yeah, Kinsler made that play look easier than it actually was.
So you get your infield knock and then you hit one sharply and you're out, and somebody will say it all evens out.
That could be the biggest lie in all of baseball.
Like heck it evens out. Do you ever feel like it evened out for you?
Never. Still waiting for it to even out.
You ever want to hear a truth about this game and what goes on in the dugout? That's one. Don't tell a guy hang with him, because at some point he is going to just snap on you.
And they do. They definitely do.
Jason Castro, a strikeout victim in the first inning. That was a big one, as was the one on Chris Carter that followed him. A couple of outs. The Astros failed to score as they had runners at first and third and nobody out. This fly ball will drop untouched other than by that fan.
I think LJ Hose is thinking things even out right now. Hit that bullet to left field in his first at bat. Make him 0 for 18.
You know, it's rough enough when you're hitting 240, but when you're hitting 140, whatever the case may be, and nothing's fallen.
No. And off the bat, it feels so good. You're like, oh, I'm about to break out of it. And the guy catches it.
Back for LJ. 140 would be a bump upward. He was hitting 136 when he hit that line shot to left field.
Oof.
You say oof?
Oof.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I'm gonna trademark that.
Two count on Castro. Jason hitting 210, so these are not the best of times. He's had his moments, and it looks for a moment like it's coming through, but on the left-hander, he strikes out again, so 0 for 2 with a couple of punch-outs. 1-zip Tigers.
Comcast Sportsnet, we welcome you back to Detroit. Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central every night at 6:10 and midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. We bring you back inside Fox Theater. It just doesn't get much better than this. Majestic, beautiful views inside here. And guys, I can see you two taking your act on the road, maybe performing at a place like this, can't you?
Yeah, Julia, a lot of people have requested that for both me and Blummer. And
yeah, due to prior engagements.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Take it on the road, fellas. And that's what we've done. Second game of this 7-game road trip.
That could be some fun right there, Ash.
How about your wife and daughters, though? Do they like that idea?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
You kidding
They're
me?
okay with that for a while?
The more Daddy's not yelling at them, the better.
We're in the bottom of the third inning. Tigers send Alex Avila to the plate, followed by Danny Worth and Ian Kinsler. Shift on, and now moving kind of back behind the bag at second base is VR as the ball is lined over Altuve into right field. Alex Avila, first pitch swinging, hangs out the shot for a knock.
Avila just aggressive in his zone. And one way to beat the shift is just hit a bullet past Altuve. Sure, Avila went up there with a game plan against Oberholzer and got it. Didn't miss it.
That shot of Avila at first base kind of summed up what it's like to get a hit in the big leagues. I don't care how long you've been here. It always feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Danny Worth, the 9-hitter at the plate. Avila doesn't run well at first base. Worth gets jammed, little looper into center field, and this is going to drop. Fowler gets it back in, back-to-back hits, Avila and Worth, and the Tigers have something going. And boy, that's frustrating as a pitcher. Obi's trying to work in tonight and live up to what the skip wants from him, and then you get these little broken bat dumpers.
Yeah, he made his pitch right there. Worth just does a better job of fighting it off.
So Obi with his work cut out for him. Top of the order now. Ian Kinsler at the plate. Avila at second. Worth at first. Kinsler grounded out. Little tapper in front of the plate as Castro jumped on it to throw him out. Starting things in the first inning. The Tiger run came in that first. Torrey Hunter had doubled with one out, but then tried to steal third with Miguel Cabrera at the plate. Here's a fly ball hit down the left field side. Long run for Hose. He won't get there. Little thing drops in front. 3 straight hits. Only one of them hit sharply. Bases loaded for Torrey Hunter.
Little drop shot off the bat of Ian Kinsler. You can see that was a changeup kind of cutting across the plate, but up again. Kinsler gets enough on it off the end of the bat to just drop it in front of LJ Hose, who gave it a good effort.
So a couple of things. Worth and Kinsler, bases juiced for Torrey Hunter, who's 1 for 1 with a double. 13-game hitting streak. Has 8 two-baggers now on his season. And all the while you glance at the on-deck circle, and Miguel Cabrera is waiting over there. Torrey Hunter now with that double in his first at bat, hitting .333. Still has pop, 4 dingers. Puts it in the air to center field. This will pick up a run as Fowler is back and under it. Makes the play. Coming from third base to score is Alex Avila. 2-0 Tigers on top, and the other runners hold. Sac fly, Torrey Hunter, and now it brings up Miguel Cabrera.
Assaulted veteran at bat right there by Torrey Hunter. Not trying to do too much. Runner on third, nobody out, looking for a ball elevated to hit in the outfield deep enough to score. Alex Avila gets it from Oberholzer and gets that easy sac fly and RBI.
RBI number 20 on the season for Hunter. And now the big man comes to the plate. Miguel Cabrera with that third home run on the year as he batted with 2 outs in the first inning. Bases were empty after Torrey Hunter was caught trying to steal third. So we posed the question, what's going on with Miguel Cabrera, and he responded. Took an 0 for 4 last night. I wouldn't doubt it with him.
He was riding 0 for 6 until that home run.
That doesn't happen.
Not to him.
Had that sports hernia injury late last season, seemed to impact him. And
well, it really did. You look at the numbers in September. He only had 1 home run in September last year, and maybe 2 or 3 doubles. So tough time getting hits and tough time running the bases.
But watching him swing last night, I'd say, well, maybe it's part of that same injury. But watching him with that swing in the first inning tonight, I'd say, I think he's fine.
And it's great talking to Miguel Cabrera. He's such a nice guy. And he had mentioned in the first game of the series, when I was down there talking to him, I asked him, if you thought about DHing and all. He was adamant about playing defense. He loves being in the field. He feels like he's so much more in the game as opposed to DHing, where he takes, a couple innings off and then he has to go back in the box.
Remember when he came to the big leagues with the Miami Marlins? I think they were the Florida Marlins at the time. He was a right fielder, as I recall, and a pretty good one.
Very good.
Has played third base, obviously first base. And as you say, he doesn't want to be that DH guy. He wants to play this game.
Yeah, he's a beast, but he's still extremely athletic.
2-time reigning MVP in the American League. Obi tried to bring it in and just tied him up a bit. 31 years of age now, from Venezuela. And don't buy into the age thing. He can swing the stick. You look at the MVP race for the last 6 years, and he has been right at the heart and center of that. Pitch drilled down the left field side, but he hooks it to the seats. Count evens at 2-2. MVP each of the last 2 years. In 2011, he finished 5th in the voting. He was 2nd the previous year, 2010, 4th in the 09 season. Look at how he drops the barrel to the ball.
What's interesting is the pitch before was a fastball up and out over the plate. Kind of fouled it off. Looked like he was trying to shoot the ball the other way. Obi tries to come down and in, and all Miguel Cabrera does is drop the head.
Brent Strom, the pitching coach, now comes out to the mound. And you wonder, is this a little further talk about what you do and don't want to do with Miguel Cabrera, or does this go beyond that? I would imagine, this is a key situation viewed by the Astros in the ball game, and let's not make the big mistake here with a couple of men aboard.
Interesting time to come out too, in a 2-2 count on the best hitter in the lineup.
You say league?
You're wondering. Yeah, you can. But I wonder if Brent Strom saw something in particular in this at bat. Felt the need to go out there and explain to Obi how to execute.
Miguel Cabrera led the league in hitting last year at .348.
He had better numbers last year than he did in his Triple Crown year. Didn't he have more homers? Better batting average?
2012 is the Triple Crown year. Little fister back behind second, diving effort, and a catch by Altuve. What a play this is. Ball not hit sharply at all, but this had a chance of being another thing.
You don't want those things to add up. Altuve rescuing Obi right there. I thought that ball was going to be able to sneak through, but playing over in a mild shift was able to make that diving catch. It looks like he snapped his arm and his neck on that one.
That's a heck of a play. Sometimes when there's no force behind the ball, those are really tough to hang on to if you do get to it.
Well, it's almost what it looked like. He was diving out there, and sometimes the impact of the ball in your glove will keep your arm straight, but he actually had to reach back and get that one. It was like a swinging changeup.
So 2 outs now. Runner still at first and second. Victor Martinez at the plate. Switch hitter batting right-handed. He flied to center to end the first inning.
Jammed Miggy a little bit. And you see as he lays out, he has to reach back towards the inside of the diamond to make sure he catches that ball. Not too often you see dirt that high on the uniform.
Is that legal for Altuve to rob Miguel Cabrera like that?
Yeah, he's not going to get that hug tomorrow.
Pitch is fouled back. Looked like Martinez might have been shooting toward right a bit.
Well, I guarantee you he's looking right up the middle in that second base hole.
Yep.
Gets vacated due to the shift and trying to shoot that one right there.
The good hitters do it, and we've seen a lot of it this year. Martinez is one of those good hitters, hitting .320. 5 bombs on the year. Okay, so quickly back on Miguel Cabrera. The Triple Crown year, he was 44, 139, and 330. Last year, he was 44, 137, and 348. So you take your pick. You like 2 extra RBIs and less on the batting average, or the other way around.
How do you capitalize on a Triple Crown year?
Yeah.
That's not easy to do, is to top what you did by winning the Triple Crown and going out and putting up better numbers.
Yeah, just amazing stuff. That is one great hitter historically. Inside move to second.
Tried the Ashby on him.
Yeah, kind of have fallen in love with that play. Just, yeah, there's fundamentally it's not right, but as long as it's allowed, it's okay for Astros pitchers to do it.
Nobody else.
It's just the way I see it. Okay.
It's okay to have a little bias.
2-1 the count on Victor Martinez, and now a 2-2 count, and Martinez didn't like it.
Pitcher's pitch right there. Talking to Brad Osmus, he really had no idea how Victor Martinez approached the game, and he's finding out that early in his managerial career with Victor as his DH, that this guy grinds out every at bat. He is in every pitch. Doesn't want to give in at all. You saw it in his first at bat, popped up, and he was pretty upset with himself running down first base. But you can sneak a pitch by Victor Martinez and not get a swing at it. Means either he's not looking for it or you made a pretty good pitch.
This guy's a career .303 hitter. That's not a bad guy to have batting behind Miguel Cabrera. Now you'd always rather face the next guy than Cabrera, but this is a tough decision. And a line shot down the left field side. Being waved home is Danny Wolf. Here comes the throw from Hose. It's cut off. And a 3-0 Detroit lead. RBI single by Vimar.
Get those good hitters in RBI situations with 2 outs. It almost seems that they get a little bit better, but you can see Oberholzer missed a spot by about 1.5 feet. Castro wanted that ball in the outside corner. Came back over that inner third. All Victor Martinez had to do was drop that head. Pretty proud of himself for getting that 2-out RBI.
17 ribbies now for Martinez. 3-0 Detroit. It's the rookie Robbie Ray on the hill for Detroit. Major league debut, but to this point the Astros unable to get on the board. JD Martinez struck out looking. That was leading off the second inning. JD now 26 years of age. Guy the Astros had a lot of hopes in. It happens around Major League Baseball. Guys eventually find a home and settle in and figure it out. But for so many clubs, you don't feel that ability to wait it out until a guy really finds his way. Robbie Ray enjoying that first night in the big leagues. Again, trying to work it in. Oberholzer sees it fouled off. JD Martinez started out his year at Toledo, AAA for the Tigers, played in 17 games, 65 official at bats, had 3 doubles, a triple, 10 home runs while driving in 22. I guess he lit it up.
That's not bad.
308 the batting average, 846 slugging, and the OPS at 1212.
It's getting it done.
So the Tigers call him up, and now he's trying to make his impact here with a big club, hitting .263. Puts it on the ground to short. 2 hops for VR. He'll feed on to Altuve, and that does it for the Tigers in the 3rd, but they add 2.
To CSNHouston.com to decide the player of the game. Astros in-game live. You can follow the action on the diamond like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats, and then we will announce the winner or the player of the game during Astros post-game live. George Springer coming up in this inning for the Astros, and I asked hitting coach John Maley just what he's seeing from him. Is there anything you're working on with George Springer? He said just shortening up that swing a little bit. Other than that, he really likes what he's seeing in his at-bats, guys, and he likes the confidence that Springer is still playing with right now.
And of course, George Springer with a hit on the night. That was an infield hit. Chris Carter leads off here in the 4th inning. 3-0 Tigers on top in the debut in the big leagues of left-hander Robbie Ray. 22 years of age and shutting down Houston despite a leadoff double in the 1st inning by Altuve, a base hit on the infield by Fowler. Runners at 1st and 3rd, nobody out, but Ray found a way to wiggle out of that inning. Carter hitting .165. Oh, and 2 the count on Chris. Carter continues to be among the leaders in strikeouts in the American League. It's 1-2. Half swing, did he go through? Yes, he did. Home plate umpire takes it himself. Andy Fletcher says you went through. Second strikeout for Carter, and now 4 for the lefty Ray.
That's 40 strikeouts and 98 at bats for Chris Carter. It's a pretty good clip.
That's the reason the lack of playing every day that he's not leading in strikeouts right now. That was pretty close. Marcus Semien is the leader with the White Sox, 43 strikeouts at the start of play today. And Guzman fouls it back, and that takes a serious bite out of Avila. And there's your boy.
Yeah, he gets crushed. No cheapies when he's back there. They constantly square him up, and they're not. I mean, they're not standard glancing blows. They're just blunt force shots right off the collarbone. It looked like.
Yeah, you say, well, that hit the chest protector. Have you ever picked up a chest protector and said, you know, what does this do for you?
It does absolutely nothing.
It's a minimal at best piece of equipment, and you put it right on that collarbone as you talk about, Blummer. That's just not what you call a party invitation. Right there.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's broken. I'll be fine. Good grief. The ball bounced straight back to the pitcher.
Yeah, you hate to laugh when a guy's hurting like that, but boy, he's been a tough guy back there. Just keeps taking it. Whereas anybody who throws the equipment on, you watch Castro and Corporon, and they get beat up and they just keep blocking pitches in the dirt.
The kids at home go, man, that looks fun.
Man, let me be a catcher. Tell you what I saw. I saw a young guy by the name of Johnny Bench come to the big leagues. He was a youngster, and I thought, oh. And I think I probably heard Vin Scully say, it's the quick way to the big leagues. And I thought, okay, cool. And furthermore, limited tools. As caught looking is Guzman. 2 straight strikeouts in the inning. 5 on the night for Robbie Ray as George Springer comes to the plate. Anyway, that was the way I added it up.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Astros.com for more details. Well, you got to the big leagues and had a pretty good career, Ash, so it worked.
You know, if I had the tools that you and so many guys have, and I don't know what direction I might have turned, but if you throw pretty well, at least when I was young, and you know, that appeared to be the way. But you do get beat up a little bit. George Springer has a 1-1 count, and look at that batting average. He's gotten off, at least for the time being, the interstate and trying to move in the right direction, hitting .203. Fastball taken at the knees, and a 1-2 count. Facing a young lefty like this guy right here, you would think would be a bit of a break on an evening for George Springer. Breaking ball hit in the air to center field, not deep. Jackson has a beat on it. A 1-2-3 4th inning for Houston, and Robbie Ray is dealing on the Astros.
history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. And it's May 6, 1915. George Herman Babe Ruth at the Polo Grounds. Red Sox rookie pitcher only collects 3 hits and included his first home run.
I've been wondering all these years what happened to the crowd.
Oh, good old Mr. Warhawk.
That did him in that night, didn't it?
Well,
wait a minute, you didn't have night games. That had to be a day game.
Well, you're giving up home runs to a pitcher. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't work well when you let the opposing pitcher swing the bat like that against you. Brett Oberholzer finds the strike zone as Austin Jackson leads it off. 4-game hitting streak in tow. Strikeout victim looking in the second. I wonder if that was the game when Babe Ruth left his manager thinking, this guy, I got to get him in the lineup somewhere.
You think he broke down into his trot and just said, oh, yeah, I'm going to be doing this 13 more times?
Think anybody at that time laughed at his trot? Of course, you watch it now.
I was going to say, you watch it on film now.
Number 714, and you're thinking, oh, that's a classic home run trot. But back then, number 1, what is this guy doing? Ground ball up the middle, out of the reach of Altuve, who was on the shift. And Austin Jackson has a base hit to start things. 5-game hitting streak for the Tigers center fielder.
Kind of curious if Altuve actually catches that ball. Does he even have a chance to make a play?
I can't see it. Jackson runs well. He's not a burner, but he runs well. He's at first base now. Nobody out for Nick Castellanos. What do you think? I mean,
no chance. Like you said, with Austin Jackson running, I mean, that's a tough play. But for a second baseman on the shortstop side of the bat going towards the left field, that's a tough throw.
Robinson Cano is the only second baseman I would think might have a chance with that submarine rocket he's got.
Yeah, he does have a hose.
Military helicopter flying through downtown and rather low elevation out there beyond right field.
That's normal.
Yeah. It's a little alarming.
As long as there's not 6 more and F-16 behind it, we should be okay.
7 hits for the Tigers now, 3 for Houston. First 2 Astros hitters had hits on the night. George Springer, the only one since.
I'll tell you what, Astro first baseman, I'm not sure if they're putting their gloves in the same bag when they travel, but I want to make the adjustment. I've seen a couple clanks.
The ejecto button hit there on the glove of Jesus Guzman.
It'll be okay, Ash. Rumor has it that Selfridge Air Force Base is nearby.
And there's one just shot through the hole on the right side. You just can't tell me this wasn't intentional.
There's a pretty good piece of hitting by Castellanos right there.
The shift was on, a wide open right side, and you take a look at that swing and it's pretty obvious what Castellanos is trying to do.
But again, Castro's sitting up on that outside part of the plate. Castellanos just stays on it and shoots it the other way. He knew as soon as he hit that ball that it was going to be a base hit.
Well, that's good work, and that's by a youngster coming to the big leagues.
And it leads into this situation where we saw last night Alex Avila with runners on first base a couple times. He had a bullet off of Jonathan Villar, and he had no chance to turn the double play.
Alex Avila at the plate as the first 2 hitters reach here in the 4th inning. 8 hits for the Tigers. Avila, the 8-hitter, had a base hit and scored run number 2 for Detroit. That came in the 3rd.
You get a good look at that shift they're playing on Alex Avila.
A little warmer here this evening, 56 degrees. Last night about this time, 53, 52 degrees. Thursday's the day with the day game that's supposed to be spectacular. Get up around close to 80 degrees.
It's going to be a lot of tank tops and blank canvases ready to be tanned up.
You coming in the tank top that day?
Oh, what a question. Yeah, I got on the horn back with Comcast in Houston and said, hey, day game attire.
Yeah. That'll be Dallas Keuchel against Drew Smyly in that one.
Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, I imagine that drew some great response. That's a 12:08 start on Thursday afternoon. Again, Dallas Keuchel and Drew Smyly. Tomorrow night's game is Brad Peacock against Rick Porcello. A couple of young right-handers. 6:08 game time. Sun's out, guns out, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's not the motto in the dugout right now.
No, not too many guns going right now. That can all change, though. Got to stay optimistic.
Yeah, I think we're all pointing toward Thursday. That might be the beginning of nice warm baseball.
I know Julio would be a fan of that. And even Omar Vizquel, for that matter. He's bundled up again down there coaching first base.
He's from Venezuela. There's just no way.
He played in Cleveland for a while.
That's true. It's true.
Good grief.
Didn't matter how cold he was either. Tigers agree.
It's good to know.
3-1 on Avila. And the shift on. 3 infielders on the right side. Only Matt Dominguez on the left. Out in front on that changeup. Avila waves through it.
Probably not the spot he wanted it to be in, but quite effective.
You know what?
That changeup on the inside corner.
I think you're dead right.
Impossible to hit sometimes.
Yeah, you see that pitch and you're thinking it's got to be a fastball, and you react quickly. You're already trying to clear out. I don't think I've ever seen a bat like that appeared to be shaved at the sweet spot on the barrel.
Well, some of these maple bats they have nowadays, they don't splinter like the ash bats do, and the lacquer, if you use them over and over, can wear away at that lacquer.
Right where you hit the ball.
Right where you hit the ball. He may be using this bat in BP. He may be shaving it down. I don't know.
Never seen that. 3-2 is fouled off. So that's kind of a factor of maybe today's bat.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's particular to the maple wood and the way the lacquer goes on there. They're a little bit stronger. They don't splinter like the ash that has the grains going through the barrel of the bat. Look at Jose Cisnero getting loose in the Astros bullpen. But that's what I remember is the maple bats. You use them in batting practice for about a week. And if you're going good, you're barreling them up consistently in one spot, and that lacquer rubs off and creates that gap in the lacquer on the barrel of the bat where you're hitting the ball all the time.
And strike 3 called, outside edge. Caught looking is Avila. So a nice job by Oberholzer to come back and get the first out of the inning. 1 out for 9-hitter Danny Worth.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch by Oberholzer right there. You see the changeup grip coming out of his glove, but just a great job of painting that outside corner. Avila wanted the walk. But now you got yourself in a situation where a double play gets you out of the inning.
Well, that's well done. 3 strikeouts for Oberholzer. All hitters caught looking this evening. Runner goes from second. The throw down not in time. And so Oberholzer gets picked here. Austin Jackson steals third. We were talking earlier in the game about Austin Jackson formerly batting at the top of the order for the Tigers and maybe feeling locked up a bit by some of the big name hitters. Not so here.
Yeah, he might have been a little timid trying to run when you got Prince Fielder hitting behind you. Miguel Cabrera, some of those big guys, you don't want to run yourself out of scoring position even at first base. But still not a bad situation for Oberholzer to be in. You still have a runner at first base and third base, and the double play is still in order.
For Austin Jackson, his 4th bag, 5 tries. First and third now for Detroit. On that backside, Nick Castellanos held his ground. A ball and a strike. We saw Andrew Romine playing at shortstop last night for the Tigers. He figures to be the regular shortstop, but now Danny Worth gets the start. Which is popped up shallow in right field, mid-depth. And that'll push Springer back a couple of steps. He'll make the catch. Sac fly is what comes with it. Run number 4 for the Tigers. It's 4-0 Detroit. RBI sac fly for Danny Worth.
Tigers have a pretty potent offense, but here tonight they're doing a good job of just pecking away at Overholzer. Saw the home run earlier by Miguel Cabrera, but since then and after that first inning, they've done a good job of just getting base runners on. A couple of base hits here and there, and when they get a guy in scoring position, 2 sac flies on the night.
The stolen base proves big, picked up by Austin Jackson. Tigers just keep adding away. A run in the first, 2 in the third, and 1 here in the 4th inning. Top of the order with Ian Kinsler. Kinsler's gotten off to a nice start. 296 batting average. In fact, up to 299 with a 1-for-2 night with the bat. Couple of home runs, 16 ribbies. Hits it in the air down the right field side. Springer coming to the line and makes the catch in fair territory. That does it for the Tigers, but they get a run on a couple of hits and leave a man.
Series May 2012 through the 14th at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com. Or Ron's going to be really upset.
No, Ron's going to be pleased if you show up, though. Yeah, he's been on edge of late.
Ornery.
It's 4-0 Detroit lead for the Astros here in the 5th inning. Matt Dominguez, LJ Hose, and Jonathan Villar. Bottom 3 in the order. Matty D hitting .224. Flied out to center field as he led off the second, or rather hit on the heels of George Springer, who led off with an infield single. Puts one in the air to center field. That's going to push Austin Jackson back and toward the gap in right center as he makes the play. 1 up, 1 down. Robbie Ray has been up to the task here in his major league debut.
Yeah, he's settled in a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, you
put down 10 in a row since that base hit from George Springer.
Kind of stuck going back to that first inning, but Brad Ausmus enjoyed it. Altuve had a double. Fowler had an infield single. Runners at first and third. Nobody out. It was setting up beautifully. But strikeouts of Castro and Carter, followed by the ground out off the bat of Jesus Guzman, and the Astros unable to get on the board. And since then, Robbie Ray has been very tough. L.J. Ho's lined out sharply to left field in the second inning as a 1-1 count.
And Robbie Ray really just throwing fastball changeup. We've seen maybe a handful of curveballs, but just doing a great job of working that fastball in and out. The changeup and hitters counts.
Yeah, we heard talk about mid-90s with the fastball. That has not been the case, but he has spotted it pretty well. That changeup's been a key pitch.
Been real good.
Just misses. And now 3-2 on Hose.
There's that curveball. He's right back on the mound too. Robbie Ray's feeling it.
He is ready to go. And throws one low. So 1-out walk to Hose. He's aboard for Jonathan VR.
First walk on the day for Mr. Ray.
Yeah, Brad Ausmus has to be tickled with what he's getting from the young left-hander that comes in. Anibal Sanchez on the DL with a cut finger on his right hand. And you're talking about with Sanchez, the guy that was the ERA king from last year in the American League. Tigers have 3 frontline, top of the rotation type starters. And then you factor in their offense that stacks up at the top. Very good club. Showing bunt, taking a ball as VR. Miguel Cabrera on the first base side was coming in. Drawn in on the third base side, Castellanos. Double play depth at short and second. Worth and Kinsler. Big swing by VR. A ball and a strike. Jonathan hitting .255. We've talked about some of the great numbers with Jonathan, but again, leading All-American shortstops in the OPS category. So offensively, he's been really good, and defensively, I think he's made improvements to the point that nobody could have anticipated to this point. Goes bunt again and takes the ball.
Played great on defense.
The biggest thing for me is the way he's made the routine plays routinely. And then you factor in the great plays he's made on top. We knew the tools were there.
Yeah, that was never in doubt. But it's just crazy to think that you're proud of the fact that he's making the routine plays after what happened last year with all the errors he was making. But that's what you want to see too. You want to see a kid like VR who has the tools and the talent to be able to make those improvements anywhere in the minor leagues. But now he's doing it at the big leagues, and that kind of says something about his character and his ability.
I think his attitude has been terrific. Just listened to the coaching and tried to improve himself, and boy, has he done it. 2-2 the count. This is the power side of the plate. Still just 23 years of age. And now full count. So Hose aboard at first. 4-0 Tigers. Not a likely running scenario.
Thought last night wouldn't be a running scenario, so
you got crossed up there.
Yep. Got to work on my skills.
VR had just 1 home run in 58 games last year, but 5 already in 31 games this year. And a chopper foul, the runner not going.
Good peek inside the glove from that center field camera. See that change-up grip.
Seen a lot of that with these two lefties tonight. Takes a lot of work to command the strike zone with that kind of a grip on the baseball. Three-two once again. A little fly ball down the right field side. Easy for Hunter. He'll make the catch. Hose will stay at first base. Two down and back to the top of the order. So VR 0 for 2 on his night. A couple of fly balls to right. And now Altuve, birthday boy, trying to pick up his second knock of the night. In the fifth inning. Jose watches it all the way. 2-0 the count. Some pretty good second baseman in the American League. And Howie Kendrick has gotten off to a nice start for the Angels. He leads second baseman in batting average at .304. Altuve's fourth behind Kinsler, Cano. The three at the top of that list. Pitch is popped up on the right side. It's the second baseman, Kinsler. On the outfield grass, he'll make the catch. And that does it for Houston in the fifth. They leave a man on the walk. It's 4-0 Tigers.
Torrey Hunter coming up to the plate, talking a couple of right fielders here. George Springer grew up a big Torrey Hunter fan, actually watched him play in the minor leagues, and because Hunter is a good friend of Bo Porter's, Bo Porter introduced these two at spring training last year, saying Hunter had the same skill set. He was a high percentage swing and miss guy, young call up. This was a good guy for Springer to look up to, and Hunter really happy that Springer got his call, is getting his cup of coffee right now. Said you have to learn to be a good big leaguer in the big leagues. He said it's how he finishes. That's what's very important here, and that's what we need to watch for when it comes to Springer. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. So true. And Torrey Hunter, I don't know if this is the end of his career or not, but if you call this a finish, he's off to a great start on that finish. And Hunter backs away on that fastball right at his front hip.
Why is he looking at Oberholzer?
Yeah, that seemed a little odd, as if there was some intent here.
Obi's been pitching in all day. I don't think he's missed his spot by too much. Maybe let one get away, but I don't think there's any intention behind that one.
There was definitely a brief glance at the hill. 18 years as a major leaguer, 279 the batting average. Pops it up on the right side, Altuve. And out number 1.
Time to reap the rewards of a home field advantage presented by Coldwell Bankers. We're talking about Comerica Ballpark. You see the dimensions currently now are 345 down the left field line, 370 in that new gap. And that's where they did most of the work at Comerica Park, as they brought that left field power alley all the way to the foul line, brought that in. They moved the bullpens from that right field bleacher area, moved them into left field, and brought it in, like Gav said last night, 25 feet, make it a little more hitter friendly for some of these right-handed batters.
Can you show us where they brought that in, Loner? The ball on the backhand side of VR is through for a base hit from Miguel Cabrera. Second hit of the night, and this was one that seemed to slip onto the glove of VR.
Take a look back at Miguel Cabrera's home run. You get a chance to see where they brought those fences in. Back in the day when this ballpark was first built, Miguel Cabrera would have to be on his horse trying to leg out a double, possible triple. As you can see right there, that 25-foot span, moved the bullpens in, gave him some shelter out there, and also created more seating in the right field stands for more fans to come in and enjoy a ball game.
Give me shelter, huh?
Yeah, Rolling Stones, 1-0.
I thought you were going to go John Madden on us there, or Frank Caliendo, or something on the
opportunity.
telestrator.
Totally whiffed on it. I panicked.
Victor Martinez at the plate, 1 for 2 on his night.
That was require me talking and drawing.
Two things. Well, and you've got gum in your mouth, I notice.
No, I'm just a little heavy on the saliva side today. In case you're wondering.
Oh, I wasn't. Just kidding about the gum. It's 1-0. And the pitch in the dirt. Miguel Cabrera had thoughts about moving down to second. Two 2-0 the count. Tigers with 9 hits to go along with their 4 runs. The Astros just 3 hits on the night. And they've been shut out through 5 by Robbie Ray in his major league debut. Shift on the infield. Huge open side on the right side. And a 3-0 count now on Martinez. Martinez, a guy that gets a green light?
Absolutely.
You'd think if he's swinging at this, he's wailing away.
I think he's a good enough hitter to pick and choose which pitch he feels he can drive out of the ballpark and make it a good hack.
Takes the curveball. Looked like he was taken all the way. 5 home runs already on the year for Martinez. Hit one last night. That was insurance in the 9th inning. Hit a bomb out to right center field just beyond that 365 mark.
How about Oberholzer respecting Victor Martinez in a 3-0 count, throwing the breaking ball?
That tells me that Jason Castro thought absolutely, as you said, that he's got the green light. And the change in the dirt. So the walk on the heels of the base hit by Cabrera. Tigers have runners at first and second. 1 out for J.D. Martinez. We have not had a double play in tonight's game on either side. Yeah, former Astro J.D. Martinez. Picked up by the Tigers, went to the minor leagues and flat tore it up. And here he is.
He's got an opportunity to knock Oberholzer out of this game. A couple of big hits right here with runners on base. Obi only at 82 pitches. Really use a ground ball right here to get out of this.
Astros pen quiet for the moment. They've had Jose Cisnero up, and he may be very close to ready. Fastball just at 88 from Obi. Fouled off the right side, a ball and a strike. JD Martinez, his first action for the Tigers came April 21st, that against the White Sox. Drew a walk in that plate appearance. He's had 5 hits, 3 doubles. Has driven in 4. So he's been productive for Brad Ausmus. Fights it off. Looked like he was trying to shoot one to the right side.
He's getting some pretty good pitches to hit.
He wants a new piece of lumber.
I don't know why you'd be trying to fight that pitch off.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it looked like he was trying to hit to the right side. (10-22) the club is, and have to be some tough nights for Bo Porter. Curveball left up and fouled off.
Yeah, I'm with you right now, Ash. I think the swings he's taken, JD Martinez that is he's trying to go the other way.
Yeah. Sure looks that way. And it's possible that that's a ploy now with 2 strikes, maybe try to see the ball a bit longer. Clearly with the 10 home runs in the minor leagues, he wasn't just trying to flip balls the other way. Obi tries to work it in. The count evens. Tigers got the scoring started in the first inning as Miguel Cabrera hit a 2-out solo home run left center field, his 3rd on the year. Tigers added 2 more in the 3rd inning. Sac fly by Torrey Hunter and an RBI single by Victor Martinez, and 1 more in the 4th inning, a sac fly by Danny Worth. So they've been spreading out the hits, 9 of them. A couple of sac flies mixed in. Tigers have a stolen base, and that factored in that 4th run that came in the 4th inning.
A good pitch to try and get that double play ball on. Set him up with that fastball inside the pitch before. Tried to come back with that changeup. JD does enough to foul it off.
Career with runners on base for JD Martinez, a 276 mark. And again, looked like a.
Remember last year, JD did a great job with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. There were a couple situations we saw him in last year where he got some big RBIs for the Astros. 2-out situations.
It's an area for the Astros this year they've had just a miserable time with. Ball is hit in the air toward left center field. Ho's over. He's there, makes the catch. Runners go halfway and retreat. So 2 down here in the 5th inning. Big out recorded by Obi. And now it brings up Austin Jackson.
Good job by Obi to win that battle. JD Martinez was fouling off a ton of pitches, working the count. Obi didn't give in, made a good pitch to get the out.
Yeah, with Martinez appearing to want to go toward right field, Obi finally gets in and forces the hand a bit. Austin Jackson has struck out looking and singled. Stole 3rd base in the 4th inning. That set up the sac fly for Danny Worth. Well, you know that Bo Porter is heavily quoted this week saying he wants to see Obi get back to working on both sides of the plate, and I would have to say he's made a concerted effort tonight to work inside as well as away.
I think he's done a good job locating pitches, working in that changeup, a couple of curve balls.
Ground ball hit to the left side on that changeup. Dominguez gets the force at second. That does it for the Tigers. They get a hit and a walk and leave a pair. It's 4-0 Detroit. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. Four 4-0 Detroit. Beautiful stadium here in downtown Detroit. Fans have been a little slow to come out this year. They're down about over 5,000 fans per ball game, but it's been very cool. And once it heats up, you can just about count on this place filling up. The Tigers have a first place club. We go to the 6th inning. 4-0 Tigers on top. 2-3-4 for the Astros. Dexter Fowler leads it off, followed by Jason Castro and Chris Carter. Tigers have won 6 in a row. They have an 18-9 record. Fowler with an infield single in the first inning. Then hit one sharply, handled by Kinsler at second base. So 1 for 2 on his night. Tigers lead the Central. 4.5 games in front of second place Minnesota. The White Sox are 5 back, Kansas City 6, and the Indians in last place. There's a base hit into right field. So Dexter Fowler 2 for 3 on the night.
Good at the plate, right-handed. Nice downward swing, head on it. Bullet to right field. It's a great piece of hitting.
Leadoff single. Hit number 4 for the Astros. Robbie Ray has walked just 1, and now the Tigers get Reed loose in their bullpen. Evan Reed, the right-hander. Jason Castro twice has struck out tonight. So 0 for 2, and that batting average at .208. Breaking ball in for a called strike. In the American League, it's Baltimore leading, tied with the Yankees, but just a percentage point in front. That in the East, Baltimore, New York, followed by Boston, Tampa Bay, and the Blue Jays. That's a close division. Game and a half separating first and last place. Curveball up over the head of Castro, and quite a play by Avila.
No doubt. He had to elevate.
That's your standard launch job. In fact, a little beyond standard. You have to look at your fingers after throwing that kind of a pitch. It's a mandate. On the hands, looper. That's going to find left field. Base hit. So Castro 1 for 3. Digging for third is Fowler, and he'll make it with a slide.
That's what I'm talking about. Take the extra base. That a boy, Dexter.
There's a little bit of that speed combining with the base running aspect that Dexter Fowler brings now.
That was a great play all the way around. You look at Castro on the replay, does a good job of staying inside this one and shooting it the other way. Having a tough time of late facing that left on left matchup, but does a good job. And you can see, we talked about it last night when we saw Marwin Gonzalez not advance on a base hit. Dexter clearly in there with those long legs ahead of the tag of Castellanos. But when you have that play in front of you and you can see that you're touching the bag and the outfielder does not have the ball yet, and you have speed that Dexter Fowler can show at times, you should be able to make it.
So the cleanup man, Chris Carter at the plate. He has struck out twice tonight. 5 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. In the American League West, it's been the Oakland A's. They're 2 games in front of second place Texas. Angels 2.5 back. Seattle 3. The Astros start the day 9 games back in the division. A 2-0 count on Carter. In the National League, the Washington Nationals lead in the East, followed by Atlanta, Miami, New York, and Philadelphia. In the Central, it's those Brewers 22-11 in front of St. Louis, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and the Cubs. And the Giants out in front of the West by 2 over the Rockies, Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks trail. 2-1 now on Carter. So on the 2-0, he fails to make contact. And that's just below average fastball thrown by on a 2-0 pitch.
I think his head leaked out a little bit. Sometimes you're trying to hit that ball out of the ballpark. Your head's trying to watch the ball go out before you hit it.
Fastball's popped up on the right side. Kinsler on the outfield grass. He'll back and drop it. And now fire to second base as a run will score. The out recorded on Castro 4-6. So Carter will get a fielder's choice. And no RBI on the play. Fowler scoring that first run of the night for Houston.
Kinsler just boxed that one, and there's nothing Jason Castro can do in that situation. I think all of us in this ballpark and everybody at home are assuming the catch by Ian Kinsler. That's going to be the last pitch that Robbie Ray throws tonight in his debut.
So Robbie Ray makes his major league debut right here with the Tigers in Detroit. You can see him glancing around. A very special night. He leaves with a chance to win it, cannot lose it. Here in the 6th inning, 4-1 Tigers.
Tigers over the Astros. Join the Astros Saturday, May 17th for the 7th annual Cajun-inspired Bayou Bash with special thanks to Budweiser. The celebration begins at noon and includes live music from the Budweiser stage, crawfish, and giveaways. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Ash.
Thanks a lot, Julia. And some great days coming up at the ballpark in Houston. It's 1 out here in the 6th inning. Robbie Ray is done. Evan Reed, the right-hander, comes on, 28 years of age, his 11th appearance. And the fastball hit on the ground. They're going to get 2. Reed comes on and gets the double play to end the inning. And just like that, Brad Ausmus with some managerial magic gets out. It's 4-1 Detroit. A run finally and are on the board. 4-1 the Tigers lead it. Brett Oberholzer has been reasonable tonight, I think you could say. I mean, he's tried to work both sides of the plate. That was kind of the mandate coming in. We want to see him work that way, and he's tried to do that. There's no question about it.
But he's done well. This is a tough right-handed hitting lineup. There's a lot of right-handers in this lineup for the Detroit Tigers, and I thought he did pretty well, only giving up 4 runs so far in 5 innings. He's done a good job of locating his fastball both in and out. We keep talking about. He's had an excellent changeup. Just the Tigers have done a better job of being a little bit more pesky than they normally are and just poking some base hits around and finding a couple sac flies and taking advantage of having a lot of base runners on base.
Here in the 6th inning, bottom 3 in the order for Detroit: Castellanos, Avila, and Worth. Castellanos 1 for 2 on his night. In fact, each one of these bottom 3 in the order for the Tigers hitters with a hit tonight. And all 3, make that 2 of the 3 have scored. The 6th hitter, Austin Jackson, has picked up another run. So the bottom of the order has done a nice job. Miguel Cabrera has a couple of hits. One of those a long ball, his 3rd of the year. 2-1 the count. And you have to say Robbie Ray pitched very well. They have not put an error on the board to account for that Houston run. And now they have charged the run to Robbie Ray. So I'm going to
take that, kid.
I'm just going to say to not have an error go on the board, even though Kinsler got an out at second, a fielder's choice, you have to say that a sacrifice fly would have taken place on the play to enable Fowler to score from third base on that pop fly. To me, that's not good scorekeeping. And now we check in with Julia. Maybe she's got some opinions on the play. What about it, Julia?
I hope you can hear me. There you go.
There we can.
I wanted to actually talk about pitching. Let me get this out of the way first. Some good news for the Houston Astros. Scott Feldman throwing his final tune-up, I guess you could say, throwing a bullpen today, just a regular bullpen. Everything felt good for him, so he is good to go. He will jump back in the rotation starting this Friday and face his former team at the Baltimore Orioles. Shaking up the rotation, though.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. I think you're in the evasion mode. You didn't want to weigh in on what you thought on that pop fly. Well played.
You know me too well.
Yeah.
I keep quiet down here.
Yeah, we've got our opinions up here. Alex Avila, 1 for 2 on the night, scored a run after a base hit in the 3rd inning. Four strikeouts for Brett Oberholzer. Obi's ERA as it stands is just under the 6 mark. It's at 5.79. Hot shot and a diving grab. Guzman at first base makes the play. That's 2 outs here in the 6th. That's a rocket.
Play by Jesus. Probably thought he was going to have to lay out more than he did, but that ball kind of hooked back towards him. Good to see him secure that in that glove.
One of those rockets that you have to make the play on. Danny Worth 1 for 1, has a base hit and scored, has a sac fly driving in a run. That came in the 4th inning. Takes the curveball for a strike. Yeah, I think it's very unfair that Robbie Ray gets an earned run on his slate tonight with that drop pop fly by his second baseman.
Well, there's got to be a way around that. That's a tough run to take.
Has to be. Look, how are you going to account for the man scoring from third base? Are you going to call it a fielder's choice routinely that enabled the runner from third to score as if it was a ground ball hit to second? I guess that's what they're doing.
I don't know. Not a fan of scorekeepers anyway.
Jeff Blum has weighed in. 0-2 the count. Danny Worth getting the started short tonight. Yeah, I don't think that's fair scoring on the young left-hander, and I have nothing invested in Robbie Ray, but Oberholzer trying to get through the 6th inning. It just popped up back of second base. Altuve's calling on the outfield grass. He'll make the catch. That'll do it for the Tigers. A 1-2-3 6th inning as Obi shuts him down. 4-1 Tigers.
And as promised earlier in the game, here is your AT&T fan photo of the game. Make sure you're tweeting us. Paul tweets this photo for the ball. Looks like Minute Maid Park, maybe. Good stuff there. Remember to tweet hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by AT&T, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Great photo. It's always a thrill to get that Major League Baseball. George Springer leads it off here in the 7th inning. 4-1 Tigers on top. Springer 1 for 2 on the night. Beat one out, a ground ball to third base in the 2nd inning. Hit it to the left of Castellanos. He might have taken an extra step or two in there, and Springer just simply legged it out. Good swing as he fouls it off the right side. Dexter Fowler has a pair of hits. Jose Altuve, the birthday boy, had a double in the 1st inning. And Jason Castro, the only other hit of the night. But with the Astros picking up that run in the 6th inning, kind of puts them back into the ballgame a little bit. A little late inning heroics with the bats. The Astros have a chance to pick one here in Detroit.
They get the starter out of the game, and the bullpen is where the Tigers historically have had issues here. Recent history. If they can find their way to scratch some runners on base, get a couple of key knocks.
You can see that Reed has a good arm. Evan Reed, 96 on that fastball. 3rd rounder drafted by the Texas Rangers in 2007. Like so many guys out of the bullpen, works from the stretch. Little looper, shallow center field, and out of the reach off the glove of Kinsler. And George Springer has a 2nd hit on the night without having hit either one well.
Well, as they say, hits is hits. Take them any way you can get them. I know a lot of people at home, and including us, are probably waiting for that bat to explode and start driving the ball out of the ballpark. But for the time being, we'll take George Springer leading off the inning right here.
You know what? And a lot of guys will say that good hitters have a tendency of getting jammed and getting some hits. I would rather see this than out in front and swinging and missing and rolling balls foul down the left field side.
No, like you said, we've played long enough to talk to some really good hitters, and a lot of guys will say they would rather get jammed than hit it off the end of the bat, because the adjustment making from getting jammed is a lot easier than trying to adjust from hitting the ball off the end of the bat.
Means you're staying on the pitch better for one thing, just to begin with. But Springer aboard, 2 for 3 on the night. Matt Dominguez has twice flied to center field. Evan Reed was traded by the Texas Rangers to the Florida Marlins, and then selected off waivers by the Tigers, that from the Marlins. So he's bounced around. Brett Oberholzer can only sit and watch and root for the offense to come alive here in the final 3 frames. Nice job by Avila. 2-1 the count. Grinder behind the dish. Lots of power with the bat. Good throwing arm. Matt Dominguez hitting .222.
Evan Reed's pace is a little bit different than Robbie Ray's.
Ooh, boy, it has really slowed down. Tigers get another right-hander loose in their pen, Al Albuquerque. Yeah, Reed has dropped the crawl onto this game speed. Hit to short, bobbled momentarily, but they'll still get the double play. 6-4-3 made to order for the Tigers, and the second turn by Detroit tonight.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up every single night on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow night's guests are John Lopez, Mike Meltzer, and NBC Sports Network's NFL draft expert, Josh Norris.
Two down, bases empty for L.J. Hose, who has lined out and walked. And with that line out in the second inning, 0 for his last 18. And you wonder, will I ever get a hit? 133 the batting average. He can hit. This is a guy that's willing to get jammed and throw it to right field. Showed us that plenty last year.
Yeah, but when you're hitting a .133, these are high stress ABs.
Weight of the world is on your shoulders. That running fastball at 95 pushes the count to 2-1. No, that's not enough said. It feels worse than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Colorado Rockies are leading over the visiting Texas Rangers in the third inning. 2-1. Chopper to third. Can he beat it? Nice play. Castellanos, and he just does get Hose. And that'll do it for Houston in the seventh. They get a hit, but there's also a double play. 4-1 Detroit. The starting auditions continue in Detroit as Brad Peacock takes his shot at Victor, Miggy, and the powerful Tigers. 3 games at 5:30, games at 6 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Why don't we take a look at tomorrow night's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It's another young man for the Astros going out there trying to solidify his spot in the starting rotation, and Brad Peacock. Last start went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits and 2 earned runs against the Seattle Mariners. He's going to go up against the Detroit Tigers' Rick Porcello. 4-1 on the season. Did pretty well in his last start also. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. Matchup of young right-handers here in Comerica Park. Third game of the 4-game set here in Detroit.
So Brett Oberholzer goes to the mound tonight. He leaves trailing 4-1. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs. They're all earned against Obi. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. He did allow a home run. That to Miguel Cabrera. 105 pitches on the night, and 66 were strikes. And now Jose Cisnero comes on. 7.36 the ERA in 3 2/3 innings. Left-hand hitters have had early success against him. The righties have struggled. Statistically, this is a hard one to try to evaluate on Oberholzer and provide a positive.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a dominant effort, but it wasn't an awful effort at the same time. He scattered 9 hits against a good hitting team in the Tigers, yet gave up 4 runs. And the Astros offense, again, I mean, it's hard to believe that they are scoring under 2 runs to support that young man. You know, if there was an offensive explosion mixed in there, they might have an opportunity to help him out in the win-loss area. Now he's lost 6 or on the hook to lose 6 in a row.
A ball foul outside the bag at third. And I prefaced it by saying statistically, you can look at that line. If you looked at a box score tomorrow morning, and I'd say, well, another rough one for Obi, but it felt better than that.
Well, if he gives up 1 less run, he qualifies for a quality start. So, I mean, it's like you said, it's not a bad outing.
Well, you're right. And a lot of people would cry for 7 innings for a quality start, with 4 earned runs being the quality start. And I think most managers would say, I'll take that over the 6 and 3.
No doubt.
We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order for the Tigers, Ian Kinsler with a 1-2 count. It was Kinsler who dropped that pop fly that led to the Astros run tonight. He got an out at second base. Robbie Ray was still on the hill at the time. But Dexter Fowler on third base, able to score as the ball drops and bounces away momentarily from Kinsler. Yeah, it's a play you don't see very often, to be sure. Good slider fouled off. And this is the play. This is how the Astros have picked up their run tonight. That's a clank. And he gets an out at second. Dexter Fowler scored easily on that play. But it goes as an earned run, at least for the time being. I wonder if Brad Ausmus, following the night, might have any conversations with anybody in terms of that play. Tigers get another right-hander loosening in their pen. 2-2 the count. Pitch it in the air, shallow left center field. This has a chance to drop, and does. Another base hit for the Tigers, number 10 on the night.
There's only 2 extra base hits from the Detroit Tigers today, and their 10 hits. They were both in the first inning. Since then, it's just been a couple drop shots, a line drives here. Fastball again misses its spots from a Houston Astro pitcher, up and in, and Kinsler does enough to fight it off and drop it in front of L.J. Hosen, right behind Jonathan Villar.
No, he's been a dangerous hitter through the years, and you can see him cut off that swing and still get jammed, but fighting it out there for the base hit. Torrey Hunter, the 2-hitter, stands in 1 for 2. He's had a sac fly to go along with a double. He's also been caught stealing. Could have been a big one back in the first inning. Miguel Cabrera followed with a home run. Did that incite the dinger? And a shot to right field. That drops for a hit in front of Springer. Digging for third is Kinsler. Ball attempted to be cut off by Villar. He simply botches it.
Why is Villar making a play on that throw? That's my question. Shouldn't you throw it ahead of the guy who got the hit and get the ball to second base? You're not trying to get Kinsler at third base. Great piece of hitting by Torrey Hunter.
That's pretty. He had a gap on the right side and looked like he just waited for the slider beautifully.
Yeah, he waited for it, saw the break, and ripped it to right field. But I mean, I guess he's throwing it to the cutoff man. But you're right, Villar kind of boxed that one. I thought that throw may have gone to second base.
I think as an outfielder, generally you're trying to hit your cutoff man, and that's fine. That's really a perfect throw in that regard. But there are moments where it's just kind of gotten ugly. Not so much just tonight, but in games along the way. Miguel Cabrera 2 for 3 on the night.
This game will find you, and it will expose you. The second you lose focus on the baseball field, it seems like, you know, it's an errant throw. It's not watching the ball into your glove and things like that lead to a little bit more exposure than you want.
Well, when you're 10 and 22 and you start dropping simple relay throws from the outfield, as Cabrera looked like he was shooting to that vacated side on the right, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Start having those. Yeah.
If you have that record, definitely things are going to be exaggerated and magnified, because it's easy to point out the things you're doing wrong when your record is 10 and 22.
27,939 on hand here in Detroit tonight. Really a nice evening for a ball game, especially behind the glass here. Yeah.
Giving away all our secrets.
I feel some heat too.
Yeah, that's nice in here tonight.
Nice play by Castro. Julia didn't get away with the heater tonight, I guess, huh?
Oh,
I found it.
Oh, you got it anyway, huh?
That was a serious mission we were on.
Okay.
You see me? I'm over here with my heaters under my feet.
So you actually absconded with our heater, huh?
I took it.
Well, that's why she gets to the ballpark so early. She's got to rack up all the stuff that she needs to survive down there.
I've got blankets.
Well done, Julia.
Still cold.
How'd you do at the Masters?
Making fun of my green jacket, I see.
Okay. You can't make fun of a Masters green jacket. You can't do it. 2-1 on Cabrera, and he puts it right through that vacated right side, and looked like he was dead on the money attempting to do that. That's just a great hitter doing great things.
I hate to say it, because I mean, on the Astros broadcast, but you got to appreciate what the man does at the home plate. Miguel Cabrera is a guy who can manipulate the bat, find holes where they're necessary, does a good job of staying on the slider down, knows when it's an RBI situation, not giving in and trying to do too much. He's just good.
Yes, he is. And I was looking at his eyes there as he was getting ready to hit that baseball. Just looked like he was glancing in that direction, even prior to that point. But
well, that's what it felt like playing against Tony Gwynn used to do. Felt like Tony Gwynn. I'd be playing at shortstop, and I just felt like he'd kind of see me shuffling my feet until the pitcher started his motion, and then all of a sudden he'd find where I was and hit it exactly where I used to be standing. It drove me nuts. And he had that same big smile that Miguel Cabrera has on his face.
3 hits on the night for Cabrera, and it hasn't been that kind of a start to a season, so maybe a kickstart evening.
There's a little more bat speed in his swing today. There wasn't much last night.
Agreed. Omar Vizquel agrees. And now the cleanup man, Victor Martinez, 1 for 2 with a walk. RBI single in the 3rd inning. With the 3 hits tonight for Miguel Cabrera, that batting average is pushed up to 287. You have a pretty good idea where it's going to wind up. Well above the 300 mark. Martinez, the cleanup man for the Tigers. Brad Ausmus has got himself a pretty good club here. And you unearthed that tidbit about Cabrera and what a nice leader he is on top of everything else on this team.
Yeah, you figured you just lead by putting up massive statistics and saying, jump on my back, boys, I'll carry you. But rumor has it that even in the clubhouse and in the dugout, he's doing a great job of communicating with the younger players and the older players in there, motivating them.
You can see here how much of a scuffle Cisneros is having, trying to find the strike zone and certainly trying to find that target of Jason Castro. Not even close.
Almost seems beside himself after that visit from Brent Strom. He's on the back of the mound trying to wonder, he was almost wondering where it's at. How do I get it back?
Sometimes early last year when he joined the team, he looked like a closer in the making. Has a very good arm.
He does. He has that easy cheese.
Still nobody out here in the 7th. And a strike.
I think a lot of times for these pitchers, and you know this too, Ash, from catching all the guys that you have, it's tough for some of these guys. that throw hard to repeat the same motion. Try and create that delivery that's consistent and allows them to continually throw strikes.
I guess it's just like hitting. You can feel great one day, and in fact, you can feel great one at bat, and the next at bat, it's gone. You think to yourself, I think I've found it. And then.
Well, you see the 2 yard sale pitches before this, and then he throws a great fastball and a great slider right here.
How many times did that happen to you? Well, I'll speak for myself. You think, wow, I've really found it, and delivery. I don't know if that's one that he felt like dead on the money, but sometimes you have that swing and you just feel like, well, that's it. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Get ready to jump off the cliff.
Let's hope not.
Well, statistically anyway.
Yeah.
Ground ball left side. Just trying to punch one that way. VR gets an out at second. Forced play to Altuve. First out of the inning. Runners are now at first and third on the fielder's choice. It brings up JD Martinez.
10,000 fans will receive an Astros gnome courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors on Saturday, May 17th when the Astros take on the Chicago White Sox. Visit Astros.com for more details and come early to get your Astros gnome.
VR suddenly having a tough time hanging on to the baseball. Still got his out.
I actually think that was a pretty good play on his part. Going far to his right. Did a good job of keeping that ball in front of him, trying to turn that double play, but there was a lot going on right there.
And he was kind of up the middle, part of a shift going on, and looked like another one of those, almost like an intentional ground ball to the left side. JD Martinez 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
When you're playing defense and you know your team's in a tough situation, you have an opportunity to get the double play ball or try and force the issue a little bit. That's exactly what you do, is you try and force it, and things like that happen on the bobble. But I thought Jonathan VR did a pretty good job of getting over there and making an attempt at that double play ball.
Oh, and 2 the count. There's something about the major league fastball, something about the major league atmosphere that just doesn't work for some guys.
I'm sure there are some guys against, that does happen too. It's unfortunate.
Ball hit to center field, deep enough for the sac fly. The catch is made. Tagging and coming to the plate is Torrey Hunter. And the Tigers put their 6th run on the board at 6-1 Detroit. Sac fly, JD Martinez. And they just keep tacking on.
They got 3 straight fastballs to JD. 2 strikes. That was a pretty good pitch to hit.
Josh Fields, the right-hander, loosening in the Astros pen now. Two runs in for the Tigers here in the 7th inning.
3 sac flies on the night for the Detroit Tigers.
They've had a stolen base, 3 sacrifice flies, 1 home run, that by Miguel Cabrera. They've had very good pitching. And they've got a chance to win their 7th straight game. This is how you do it. They took 2 on a recent road trip in Chicago against the White Sox, went into Kansas City and swept 3, and then picked up the win last night against Houston, their 6th in a row. They've got a good formula. You look at the numbers offensively and pitching wise, they are good. Line shot at Altuve. He goes up to haul it in. Austin Jackson lines out for the final out of the inning. 2 runs in, 6-1 Detroit.
Park. Every Friday home game at night is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is May 16th against the White Sox. Get tickets today by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Al Albuquerque, third pitcher on the night, getting it loose here for the 8th inning. He'll face the 9, 1, and 2 spots for the Astros. Jonathan VR will lead it off.
New pitcher for the Detroit Tigers is Al Albuquerque, making his 15th appearance. Youngster throws hard, decent breaking ball. You see that opponent's average, though, relatively high, around that 304 mark. Shows some of the issues that are happening down in that bullpen for Brad Ausmus.
That's been the one weak spot for the Tigers to this point. Great starting pitching, offense up at or near the top in key categories, but the bullpen has been a problem. Albuquerque pitched a couple of days ago against Kansas City, allowed a run in 1 inning. And the first pitch here in the 8th inning misses on VR. For Jonathan, twice he has flied to right field, 0 for 2 on the night, and hitting .253. Comeback fastball finds a good part of the plate. Albuquerque, 28 years of age, in fact still 27. He's from the shortstop factory, San Pedro de Macorís, that in the Dominican Republic. A good run in the big leagues to this point, 11-4 in his 4 years.
Good grief, looking at some of the numbers on Albuquerque, he's heavy on the slider. 75% of the time. Doesn't make much sense. 95 miles an hour,
yeah.
Breaking off the slider.
Came to the big leagues with the Tigers in 2011 and hit the scene with a big splash. 1.87 ERA in 41 games. Allowed just 21 hits and 43 in the 3rd innings. That's big time stuff. And not one of those hits was a home run. His issue, the walk. 29 that year. Walked 34 last year in just 49 innings. So that has been an issue. Here's your slider, Blummer.
Sit on it. Hey, it's time now for the AT&T Rewind, and it's going to be that youngster at second base who's having himself a birthday this afternoon. Doing a great job of picking it on defense this year. Has yet to make an error at second base, helping out his pitching staff in as many ways as he can, picking some short hops, making some great plays on a line drive. Trying to do it all. You know the stick is going to show up every day, but this year it's been the defense backing him up too.
Pops one up, back of second. Kinsler with the play, and 2 outs here in the 8th. In fact, 67. And with tonight's game, 68 consecutive games without an error for Jose Altuve. So he's been spectacular in that regard. 2 outs, bases empty for Fowler.
Until we give him a highlight reel and talk about him and try and give him some praise. He swings at the first pitch like that, and it just all goes to waste. Come on, guys.
Well, the birthday night started perfectly with that little flip double down the right side. That's how the night in the big leagues for Robbie Ray started. He gave up a little flip double, an infield single to Fowler, and it looked like the Astros would score easily in that initial inning, but didn't work out that way. Ray settled in, struck out Castro and Carter, got Guzman to ground out, and from then on he pretty much rolled. It took a drop pop fly by Kinsler in the 6th inning to enable a run to score for Houston. Two and 1 the count. Dexter Fowler 2 for 3 on the night. The only time they got him in the 3rd inning Very nice play by Ian Kinsler. Oklahoma City is leading over Memphis 2-0 in the 8th inning as Fowler's down on strikes. 1, 2, 3, 8th. A couple of strikeouts for Albuquerque, and the Tigers continue to roll.
To 1. And here's a look at the Astros' upcoming schedule presented by Progressive. After tonight, there's going to be another night game on Wednesday, and then the day game on Thursday will be getaway day as the Astros hop on the plane and go over to Baltimore for a 3-game set over the weekend. At the conclusion of that 3-game series, they're going to head back to Houston for a 3-game series with their interstate rivals, the Texas Rangers, before that day off on Thursday, and settle into the weekend against the Chicago White Sox.
Tomorrow night's game, Brad Peacock opposed by Rick Porcello, a couple of young right-handers, and then Thursday's day game, Dallas Keuchel and Drew Smyly. As Josh Fields will now work it in the 8th inning. Pitcher number 3 for Houston. It's been Oberholzer, Cisnero, and Fields. "12 hits allowed in 11 1/3 innings. So Fields from the stretch will face the bottom 3 in the order for these Tigers. Castellanos takes a strike. He's 1 for 3 on the night. Fields in his 14th outing on the season. He's had a couple of saves, but he's also had his struggles in that category.
He's not the only one.
No, that's fair. Off speed in for a called strike. 1 and 2.
We'll look down in the Astros dugout. I think they're having some issues with the heater down there. Got to call in engineering. Check the jet engine down there smoking.
Breaking ball lined into center field. So the curveball gets hit for a base hit. Castellanos his 2nd hit of the night. Big turn as Fowler gets it back in.
Take a look down on the farm, and Astros farm hand Mike Foltynewicz having himself a pretty good night. Having himself a good last 2 games. You see that last start on Cinco de Mayo, he went 6 innings strong, striking out 12, and we found out the last 6 batters he faced all went down with the strikeout.
He's got that huge arm, and a lot of people this spring talking about Foltynewicz as a closer for this club. Pitches line down the right field side. Extra bases for Avila down into the corner. Castellanos into third, and now being held at the last moment by third base coach Dave Clark. So back-to-back hits, single Castellanos, double Avila, and the Tigers have set it up to score more here in the 8th inning. But Foltynewicz privately will tell you he would like to start, but he is very open to pitching in relief, especially if it means that closer's role. Well,
it's got to be tempting to having a Foltynewicz at the back end of the bullpen with the issues that are going on right now with the bullpen. You know, you get a guy that can throw 100 out of the starting role. Imagine what he could do if you gave him an inning at the end of the game.
Well, the likelihood as a starter, you're not going to see 100 very often. But as a closer, does he become Billy Wagner and light it up on a consistent basis?
Just blow the doors off guys.
Infield plays partway in. Runners at second and third. Nobody out for 9-hitter Danny Worth. And there is certainly some value for that kind of an arm at the back end of the bullpen. There is nothing wrong with this arm, Josh Fields. He'll go mid-90s steady.
Yeah, but you also need that secondary pitch, and I know that might be one of the questions with Mike Foltynewicz. He does have an arsenal of pitches, but what really is that strikeout pitch at the big league level? You can get away with it down in the minor leagues, but you start facing a lineup like the Detroit Tigers, you better have a secondary pitch that's able to put guys away.
Well spotted fastball at the knees at 95. Well, some of the guys that really stand out as closers are really two-pitch guys, especially if one of those pitches is a big-time fastball. And so Folty could be a guy fast-tracked to that position.
Pretty good breaking ball from Josh Fields right there.
He's got a good curveball.
Throws it for a strike, but you still want to see that devastating one that gets swings and misses. Yeah, there's not too many Mariano Riveras out there that go out and throw a cutter consistently, even though you know it's coming and you still can't hit it.
Yeah.
But then another great closer, Trevor Hoffman. He was just a fastball changeup guy.
And late in his career, he was really didn't have a fastball. It was just a faster than the changeup pitch.
Yeah, but still that changeup was so effective for him. It continued to work until the end of his career.
Well, guys always swung at his arm speed. No matter how you told yourself, I'm going to wait and swing at the changeup, you'd see arm speed and you'd swing at it. It's just a reflex. Dave Smith, the all-time closer for the Houston Astros, held a little splitter, but it came to the plate just like a straight changeup, and he dominated with a fastball and occasional curveball, but that changeup was really good.
Astros bullpen ERA at 5.77, dead last.
Yep.
Detroit Tigers are the next worst ERA at 5.24.
Pitch is lined up and over Dominguez into left field. This will plate 2 runs. Two-run single for Danny Worth. Still nobody out. 3 consecutive hits against Fields, and it's an 8-1 Tigers lead.
The woes continue. Some close pitches for Josh Fields not getting called, allowing these at-bats to get extended. But at the same time, you can't give in. And you're looking at the ERAs, and I just spoke about the Detroit Tiger bullpen at 5.24. Their starting rotation, their ERA, best in the big leagues by quite a ways at 2.73.
Yeah, they're really good in that category. Still nobody out for the top of the order man, Ian Kinsler. He's 2 for 4 on the evening. Yeah, minus injuries, I just can't see the Tigers slipping this year. They've got Too much starting pitching. Too much offense.
Well, and can you imagine if Joe Nathan gets back to form? That's the closer they need.
Yeah. Had a big year a year ago. Although clearly he's heading toward the end of his career.
39 years old. Still has a pretty firm fastball. Great breaking ball to put guys away.
He's got that put away slider. There's no doubt.
There's that thing hard.
Kinsler fouls it back. It's 1-2. This guy looks really slimmed down from a few years back to me.
Julia was giving him a hard time about that when she saw him for the first time here in Detroit. And he actually admitted to the fact that he lost some lbs trying to be a little bit quicker on the base paths.
Gets a piece again. It stays at 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-1 Tigers as they try to make it 2 straight in the series. Ground ball through the vacated right side. Another base hit for the Tigers. Boy, they have just taken advantage repeatedly.
That was a 2-strike count. Not that breaking ball down in the dirt. You'd like to see that swing and the miss. And there you get a chance to look at the ERA by relievers in the American League. The 2 worst are on this field right now. And that's 4 straight hits against Josh Fields.
Torrey Hunter stands in. He's 2 for 3. Has a sac fly mixed in. Scored a run. Driven one in. Caught stealing in the first inning, but right now just one of those plays that ultimately hasn't mattered. That's what happens when the offense is swinging the bats. 16 Tiger hits tonight. In the Oklahoma City game this evening, Robbie Grossman with a hit in 4 at-bats, hitting at .296. John Singleton is 0 for 2. And a 1-2 count. Domingo Santana, Gregorio Petit, Max Stassi, Enrique Hernandez, and Carlos Perez all with a hit. Oklahoma City has struggled a bit since George Springer's been away. High cheese thrown on by at 95. First out of the inning. First strikeout for Josh Fields. Going to bring up the 3-hitter, Miguel Cabrera, already having a night. 3 for 4. He's driven in 2. He's hit his 3rd long ball of the year.
If it wasn't for that great play by Altuve, he might have snuck that 4th hit in there.
Tigers fans can start to breathe easy again.
They're not going to be satisfied until he's hitting .330 with 15 home runs, are they?
At that point, they'll say, well, imagine what he'd be doing if not for that slow start.
Exactly. Set such a high standard for himself. Trying to go mano-a-mano with that high heater.
No shift on this time. He fully took advantage, shooting one through the right side in the 7th inning. Nolan Fontana with a pair of hits tonight for Corpus Christi. Pitch is drilled to the gap in left center field. Hit number 4 on the night for Cabrera. This is going to plate 2. It'll make it 10-1 Tigers. A double for Miguel Cabrera.
not going to fool a guy like Miguel Cabrera too often. Got that swing and miss on the first pitch, high heater. Tried to come back with one down in the zone, and Miguel was ready for it. He's just good. He knows when runners are on base. Smell those RBIs. Such a short, quick stroke for a big guy.
He is one of those severe barrel droppers, and when you do that, the ball can come off in all parts of the field. It's just a great way to get the barrel of the bat to the ball.
Watch him on deck practicing his swing. He's constantly looking at his hand position. Just interesting to watch how those guys set up, what they do to prepare coming into games, the way they take batting practice. I wish it was easy just to emulate guys like that, but there's a certain amount of talent that's missing in my game that would try and keep up with what Miguel Cabrera does.
Just remember, the longer you sit here, the better you become.
I hope so. I'm still waiting.
Victor Martinez, the cleanup man, stands in 1 for 3. RBI single in the third. He's walked. Hitting .324. Yeah, they've got some thump in this order. And they don't have Prince Fielder anymore. But they've added Ian Kinsler, who's hitting .308. Corpus Christi with a 5-0 lead over San Antonio, that in Corpus, and they're in the 6th inning. And a strikeout of Martinez, second strikeout to go with the 5 hits here in the inning. And we check in with Julia once again.
Thank you, Ash. We're talking Twitter question of the game. It was inspired by the birthday boy, Jose Altuve. What do you like most about Jose Altuve? We had lots of tweets on this one, but we picked these two. Larry, his determination to succeed at every level of baseball he's played at. We've followed him since Greenville. Pretty cool. And Katie McKenzie, his speed. He may be tiny, but he's a giant on those base paths. We want to thank everyone for tweeting us for the Twitter question of the game.
Thanks, Julia. And it is fun to stay up with the guys and also with what the fans are saying. JD Martinez still looking for that first knock on the night. He's driven in a run with a sac fly in the 7th. Has a very modest 2-game hitting streak coming in. Lancaster leads at Lake Elsinore 5-2 in the 4th inning. Here's a ball that's going to drop inside the line down the right field side. It'll score Cabrera. It's now 11-1, and holding with a single is JD Martinez. So he gets a knock against his old teammates, and 6 hits in the 8th inning for the Tigers.
JD was the last Tiger to get a hit this evening. Now with 18 on the night, it's a season high. The Astros have given up.
Inside out job by JD Martinez. Nothing at all George Springer could do. That's going to do it for Fields, as Bo Porter has come out. And they turn to the bullpen once again. It'll be pitcher number 4 on the night for Houston. Comcast Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Some of the fans heading back home. The Tigers with a comfy lead here in the 8th inning. It's 11-1 Detroit. They've sent 8 hitters to the plate, 2 down, with J.D. Martinez at first base. And left-hander Darren Downs comes on, pitcher number 4 for Bo Porter.
Ex-Tiger Darren Downs got himself an inning against the Mariners. Didn't give up a run. Gave up 1 hit, struck out 1.
So Downs trying to come in and nail down that final out of the 8th inning. 29-year-old has worked just that 1 inning with Houston. Came up with the Tigers a couple of years ago, pitched in 18 games in 2012, in 29 games the following season. 2-3 on his major league career in 48 outings. Face the right-handed bat of Austin Jackson, who's 1 for 4 tonight. Brett Oberholzer stands to lose it. But on the whole, not a bad night for Brett. Downs in the dirt. It gets by Castro. But holding on at first base is J.D. Martinez. Is that code baseball?
No, that was a terrible read. Pass ball, you got to go, or I mean, wild pitch, don't you?
Yeah, you know that there's nothing that says don't move up on a ball that gets by the catcher.
Worse that you don't go.
Yeah, I think that kind of looks ugly. Shooting toward the right side, Jackson fouls it off. You rooting to see anybody come out of that Tiger pen for the 9th inning?
It's going to be somebody. I don't know if I'm rooting for anybody.
Ground ball hit to third, knocked down by Dominguez. He'll fire on to first, dug out at first base by Guzman. So 9 hitters come to the plate, and the Tigers have a feast as 5 score. Detroit hits on the night, as the Astros have just 6 for their evening.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. We were hoping for some Astro highlights, but it was the rookie Robbie Ray who stole the show, doing a fine job against this Houston Astros lineup in his debut. As you get a look at his parents cheering him on. Fantastic evening for baseball, and he did a great job. Showed a great fastball in the low 90s. Showed a great changeup also. broke off that breaking ball when necessary, but the kid did a fantastic job in his debut, going 5 1/3 inning, giving up 5 hits, 1 earned run, which is a little questionable, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Proud parents sitting in the Comerica stands.
Manager Brad Ausmus turning this into a bit of a spring training affair as he goes to his bullpen. Pitcher number 4 on the night. It is Justin Miller coming on to pitch now in the 9th inning. Danny Worth, who was at shortstop, moves to third base as Andrew Romine comes on to play at short. And Don Kelly is in right field.
I think Worth went from short to first base, giving Miguel Cabrera the rest of the evening off. He's exhausted from getting all those hits.
That's what we have.
The rookie Castellanos isn't going to get the inning off. Can't do that to the rookie.
Can't do that.
Give it to Miguel Cabrera.
No, the guy's got 4 hits already. Let him sit down. Yeah. And if you're Brad Ausmus, what do you say? You say, enjoyed watching you hit tonight, Miguel. Do it again tomorrow.
Good to see you finally show up. No, I'm just kidding. You can't say that to that guy.
No, no chance. So we're set to go here in the bottom of or top rather of the 9th inning. Jason Castro, Chris Carter, and Jesus Guzman due up here against the right-hander Miller. It's been all Tigers. Picked up a run in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the 4th inning. The Astros got their lone run in the 6th on a drop pop fly by second baseman Ian Kinsler, but then 2 more runs from the Tigers in the 7th and 5 in the 8th. The Astros with some yeoman's work to be done here in the 9th inning. Ground ball to first, and that's kicked by Worth. So that's going to enable Jason Castro to reach. It's an E3.
Finder.
So the guy who starts at shortstop winds up with a first baseman's glove on and cannot make the play.
Got a little back on his heels. Ball played him a little bit.
Castro winds up 1 for 4 on his night. Chris Carter is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Miller from the stretch. And a strike on the outside edge. Now, shame on us for talking about Miguel Cabrera like he had lost his hitting stroke, because he has found it again here this evening.
Can't say that.
Walk around and talk to concerned Tigers people about how he's not swinging the bat the same this year, and it happened late last year and there was the injury involved. Nonsense. 1-2 the count on Carter. Ray, Reed, Albuquerque, and Miller now for the Tigers. And Robbie Ray set to pick up that first major league win, 5 1/3 innings of 1-run ball, and that 1 run was not deserved. Line shot into center field, solid base hit. Castro stops at second. Astros have a little something going, and Carter 1 for 4 on his night.
Reminds me of a word that I actually, in a phrase, I guess, but more of a word that I learned from Detroit Tigers manager Brad Ausmus. We spent a lot of time hitting 7th and 8th in the Astros lineup. Get a hit in your last at bat, go 1 for 4. He would come over to you and go, salvage. It was always entertaining.
This ball finds the outside edge. But if you can get that 1 hit per ball game, you kind of salvage things.
Exactly.
And yeah, exactly right.
Oh man, there was no truer word at the time. He'd say it if you were losing big. He said it if you were winning big. He wouldn't say it in a tie ball game in the 9th inning, though.
No?
No.
What was that, superstition, or?
No, it was just the fear of going extra innings and having to go through some more ABs.
Yeah, there's that ball player mentality. Somebody win it.
Yeah.
Guzman at the plate is 0 for 3. Is struck out and grounded into a double play. Puts one on the ground. They'll get an out at third base, and that's all they'll get. So a fielder's choice. He raced his Castro 5 unassisted, and out number 1. That'll bring up George Springer. Springer, a couple of hits on his night. First 2-hit game in the big leagues. Castro turned that into a bit of a race. Second inning infield single for Springer. And then in the 7th inning got jammed and dumped one into shallow center field. He is also flied out, so no strikeouts on the night for George. And now Alex Avila decides it's time to go to the mound. With a runner at second base, you go through the series of signs. Get that guy out of the bullpen you haven't been seeing a lot, and reminder about signs. Most teams come out of spring training with one set of signs. It takes about less than a week, and you've got 6, 7, 8 sets of signs. As infielders, I imagine you have a hard time trying to figure out what you're looking at.
I love the outs +1. Good grief. Yeah, there were some interesting combinations that guys could try and rattle off.
Okay, so outs +1 would mean if there's one out in the inning, the second sign would be the one you count.
Yes.
And 2 outs, the third sign, and so on. And when there's nobody out, it would be the first sign.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There are intriguing signs that have to do with the count. If you're behind, ahead, or even. There's a line shot, third hit of the night for George Springer down the left field side. Springer will dig into second base as he has a double, plates a run, and the Astros put another on the board. It's 11-2, Tigers on top. George Springer, with his first multiple hit game in the big leagues, has 3 as he stands at second, and that's going to do a world of good.
Swing the bat a little bit, coming around. 3 hits is always going to make you feel good. Get himself firmly off the interstate. Driving in a run. Could lead to some big things for the young kid.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's no guarantee, but it sure does help you sleep a little bit and come out and have some fun. And having fun, I think, with good focus, fun and focus combined is how you play this game.
Yeah, that's a possibility. You got to find that combination.
If you play tense with focus, I would submit you probably will struggle. And I think that's why some guys come on the big league scene and just don't have immediate success, because they're not having a lot of fun. They're just struggling. Look at that ankle.
You look at it.
You got to look at it now, and I want you to think about it as you do your running tomorrow morning.
Agonizing right there. Just watching him swing, I don't know how he recovers from that on a consistent basis.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, the human body, what it can take is incredible.
I don't think it was meant to take that.
He's just programmed over repetition, I guess, just to be able to adapt to that swing.
Third double on the big league scene for Springer. That RBI, his 6th. And a line shot down the right field side. That drops foul. But Matt Dominguez looking for that first hit on an 0 for 3 night. And slices one just foul. With that third hit on the night, George Springer now hitting .222. Sounds pretty good after some of the numbers he's had lately.
There's a couple guys on this team that would like to be at .222.
Isn't that true? Inning started with Danny Worth at first base, kicking the ground ball by Castro. Still just one out, a run in. What do they say now? They used to would have said ducks on the pond. What do the players say instead?
Call them stakes. They just call it money. RBIs are money. You got to drive it in.
So if you're saying if you're saying to the hitter, you know, like they used to say, hey, come on, ducks on the pond. What do you say to the hitter? Do you
get you some stakes?
Get some stakes.
Yeah.
Get yourself some money. Pocket some coin.
Get some change.
There's a line shot into left field. So Matt Dominguez has his hit. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Scoring from third is Guzman. Springer into third. It's now 11-3.
Domingo doing a good job. He fouled off some tough pitches. Finally got himself a decent pitch to hit. Stays on it. One more run for the Houston Astros here late in this game. It's going to bring out the pitching coach, Jeff Jones. Talk to Justin a little bit.
11 RBIs for Matt Dominguez. So they have that conversation that can be tough. You know, if you're Miller and you're on the hill and inning starts at 11-1, you're the load that's just not able to bring it home, and you're trying to figure out some way to get it done.
Well, it might be give him a little bit of a breather also. He's thrown 19 pitches now in this inning. Probably didn't anticipate that. The Astros bats have woke up here a little bit, putting it on him.
3 hits in the inning. The error charged to Worth at first. Runners at first and third, and LJ HOU's looking for that first hit. He's lined out, he's walked, and he was thrown out. He hit a little swinging dribbler on the third base side in the 7th inning. Nice play by Castellanos to get him. Now, with a little fortune on his side, maybe a couple of hits could have been picked up tonight. The Astros have 9 hits. Oh, 2 the count on LJ. Hit on the ground is short. Do they get 2? On to first base. They do not get the double play, so able to leg it out and drive in a run is LJ HOU. He picks up the RBI. It's 11-4 and extends things now as Jonathan Villar comes to the plate. It'll be Marwin Gonzalez grabbing a bat and pinch hitting for Villar here in the 9th.
Good hustle by LJ, not giving up on this play, knowing a run could be scored, beats it out, gets the RBI. But frustrating times for that young man right there.
So it's a fielder's choice, but again, that RBI for LJ, his 2nd on the season. The bat's trying to come to life here in the 9th inning. Marwin Gonzalez takes outside. Is this just a get a guy in at bat moment for Marwin?
Likely.
Villar an 0 for 3 night with a strikeout. 1-1 the count. The Astros start the night last in runs per game in the league, right above 3 1/3 runs per game. The leaders are the Angels at about 5 1/4 runs a game, followed by the White Sox, Twins, Oakland, and Detroit. Backdoor breaking ball pushes it to 1-2. They're down to a strike. Tigers have their first baseman playing all the way behind HOU's, and LJ has not gone. We've seen this with the Astros in previous games, we've also seen other teams readily take this base. And I see no reason not to. But LJ has been holding his ground. And the pitch is low. It's close.
Yeah, the only explanation might be that it went around the plate.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good breaking ball.
Up at the front of the plate, that breaking ball, to me, has to get the bottom of the knees when you see it caught in that range. Got him swinging. Marlin gets a piece, but it's hung on to by Avila. And that does it for the Astros in the ninth. They battle back and put 3 runs on the board with 3 hits, and they leave a couple. Tigers win it 11-4.